Good morning, good morning, good morning. Share. How do I share this? How do I get a link to my Twitch, to my YouTube stream? No. Here? No. Share. Copy link. Cool. Cool. Let me notify YouTube at YouTube. Notify YouTube. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. How are y'all doing? Yo. What up? Trying out dual streaming again for a normal Friday stream. How are y'all doing? How was your week? How was your week, everybody? You're mostly recovered from GMTK? Me too. Not the most productive week in the world, but I wanted to make sure I could give myself the time I needed to like stave off burnout, basically, right? Let me play my Friday music. All right, so music is playing in Twitch chat. Let me know how that is. YouTube chat, if you all of a sudden hear music, tell me that as well. You're not supposed to hear music. CT, good morning. John Livin, Sir Puffin, Bruce Malt, hello, Algarna. Hey Jack, how you doing? You hanging in there? I'm doing well myself. It's been brutally humid here. Absolutely brutally humid here. Which has been quite rough. Quite rough. It's made walking quite hard. But yesterday I got a new Hexagod build out the door. I added in some new shapes to it. I can actually show you the shapes right now if you want to see them. I had one of the really nice things about maybe slowing down development on Hexagod is I'm a lot more intentional with what I'm going to do when I sit down and actually work on the game. So if we go here, I basically added, I think there's like 9 or 7, somewhere between 7 and 9 new shapes. Let me turn on the dev mode. Square God. Shapes being the orientation of the tiles within like I call them tile groups, but I think tile shapes might be a little bit more like Tetris-y as a term. And so now there are a bunch of new ones. So we have the default. Those ones are default. Those are the normal ones. We can't place that. We'll place this down. And now we have, you can see some new shapes. This is like a little 5 blob. This is like a little, I mean, it has a certain quality to the shape, if you will. Especially if you tilt it this way, maybe. There's a specific shape that it looks like. Yes, it is the Tetris L type shape. And now we have 2s. You can get little 2s in there. That one's still normal. That one's still normal. Here's a 7 blob. So a big old blob. The other thing that I changed is you used to be able to rotate tiles within a shape, but it made sense for the 3 shapes I had because it was very clear what would happen if you spun them. Like it was within a given shape. But once I got to like this shape, I was like, it kind of doesn't make very much sense anymore now, does it? And so this is now, if you do Q or E and scroll, you're just changing. It's as though it's a puzzle piece and you're rotating the puzzle piece around, which I think is a little bit more intuitive than when you could like change the shape. So this is a new shape as well. This is like a C shape. that can kind of fit in. I'm thinking there's a few more shapes I want to add in that I didn't quite get. Like if we did, I don't know how to show this. Maybe if I go here and open up, just checking YouTube chat. You cannot hear music, right? You just hear the lovely, sweet voice of Aramis. All right, I'm thinking, so we have like this little C shape, but I think what would be nice would be if I also filled in and had a shape with like this one filled in. And so it was like a C shape, but even a little bit more C. No music, perfect. There's a few other shapes that I want to try to find. We've already seen that one. We already saw this one. There's this one, this like a little X. I can't play music on YouTube. If you want to listen to music there, you can come over to the Twitch stream. YouTube would ban my stream or demonetize it. I don't fucking know, but you can't play music that I'm playing music over on Twitch. So if you want to do that, you can come over to Twitch. It's Aramis over on Twitch. We're listening to some my Friday tunes, probably some classic rock later. I don't really know. We'll listen to whatever we want to. Yeah, good old DMCA. So this is a new shape. This is like a little bit of an X shape here. And then if we try to find more, we have now single tiles that you can place down. There you go. You can't rotate them. Maybe I should prevent you from even being able to click and rotate them, but it is a nice, I mean, this could help you kind of, it's not going to give you as many tiles as the other ones, but sometimes, you know, there's a certain power that comes with it being able to place one tile exactly where you need it to go, where like this is great, but maybe if you put it here, this actually will be pretty good. But you don't always want to have those adjacencies that you're coming along the ride with it. Like, you know, this might fit here or like in some way, but like, generally speaking, being able to place groups gets you more tiles, which is good. It's good and dandy. But you want to be able to, you know, if you have one or twos, they're I think in my head they're inherently more powerful. Where's the black hole? We're working on it. I was just talking about I did a new build for Hexagod, and so I wanted to showcase all of the new shapes. The other big thing I did is I refactored some of the code in here to be able to handle that a lot better. I actually have a Discord message. Let's see who's it from. It's also more delayed than Twitch, so you switch to YouTube. Yeah, I think I don't know how to turn off the Twitch. There's like a slight delay on Twitch. Is that normal? Is there normally a delay on Twitch? I don't really know. I don't often talk that much. Both YouTube and Twitch have latency options. Stream settings, stream latency. I have normal latency. Perhaps I should have clicked low latency. I can't click that right now, but I will try next time. My apologies. My apologies, dear viewers on YouTube. I'll make your experience better, I promise. I basically refactored the tile group data to use a rotation instead. So previously I was hard coding the tile group rotations. If you come over to util, I had for each shape, I had all of the rotations hard coded. And this is a strategy that I like to do called do it really dumb. Do it really, really dumb. Where's the dumb? Do it really dumb and just like move forward. And then eventually you'll understand if dumb is good enough or if dumb needs a bit better of a solution. So these were like the diamond cells. They're just like hard-coded arrays. Because there's only like, if you rotate a shape in hexagon space, it's called cubic space. Hexagon space is way better branding. And you rotate it. There's only 6 rotations or 4 rotations depending on what you're looking at. And so I just hard-coded it because why not? But then I figured out, based off of this hexagon grids, red blob here, the goat red blob, has a amazing. This is a great blog, but this is where I like learn most of how to do stuff in the hexagon space. He has rotations right here. So if you want to take something and rotate it, he has basically he has some pseudocode that talks you through how you would do this. And so I read through this and I understood how to do rotations. So then I can take anything. And start rotating it. And so now I have some code in my hexutil down here that will do the rotation for me. And the really nice thing that this does is, yo, that guy Loki with the 10. Did you have a message? Happy Friday. Thank you very much. Thank you. That's 3 thank yous. Cheers. I got myself a coffee today on you. I think you did donate during the GMTK jam as well. So that coffee was on you, and I appreciate that. So this code right here allows me to rotate any objects. And so now when I'm going and defining my tile groups in my tile manager here, it's simply saying what are the tiles in the array, what is the scale in the UI, and then simply what is the name of it. What is the type? So I have these tile orientation types. I define them over here just so I can keep track of them and like load them in from memory and stuff like that. And it works out pretty well. Yeah, so that was it was fun to have thought about this and understand how to do it. Like, be prepared. Know I want to do these shapes. Know I'm continuing with this, and then sit down. And the whole thing took me like an hour to do because I was like prepared and ready to do it. I think tech debt is such a tech debt in my head is it is a interesting topic because I feel like we talk about tech debt in this way that it's this really evil and nasty thing. And actually, I think a lot of the times purposefully adding tech debt in the realm of a personal project that you're the only one working on, I think that it is so great in the Godot space, in the game dev space, purposefully put in tech debt because you don't know what you're going to keep in your game. And so if you spend 2 weeks doing a solution that you end up pulling out because it doesn't fit the game anymore, what if you could have done that in 2 hours and had it be just really shitty, really crappy code that just barely works? And it didn't take you 2 weeks to get it into a quote unquote good state. That's something I'm trying to learn more and more and more, and do things really dumb. And then eventually you'll figure out, is dumb good enough, or is dumb actually dumb and I need to change it? But boy, it's so hard. Yeah. Nick says it's a bigger problem in software dev than in game dev. 100%, because you're working on a team. And quite frankly, the code you write is absolutely going to outlive you on that project. And it behooves you as a professional on a team to give it the respect it needs, I suppose. How are we all doing? How was your week? Working on a new game? I am working on a new game. I'm working on it's called The Game About a Black Hole. Game About a Black Hole. I've been adjusting around the gameplay loop this week. The biggest question I was asking myself: what is the goal of the game? What is the goal of the game? What is the goal of the game? The goal of this game, in my head right now, is to be able to do a run. We'll talk about a run in a second, where you can feed the black hole enough matter for it to get big enough to suck in the whole screen. that'll be something I say as like a you know, leveling. There'll be a definite endpoint. And say that's you grow it 10 times maybe, and at the 10th time it's gargantuan, and then the game ends by it sucking itself up. And what is a run? Well, a run is going to consist of a timer. Right now we're in this great negative 72 space, but if I restart it quickly here. Oh shit, I already lost the timer. Hey Cloud, good afternoon. Arcade Nest, hello, how you doing? Welcome to the YouTube stream. This is stream number 2 on YouTube. I'm also streaming over on Twitch. It's a dueling banjo situation to see who can have more viewers. And if you want to play both teams, I'm okay with that. You can open up both streams on your computer. You can open up both streams on your Samsung Smart Fridge, not sponsored. Are there other fridge? I'm sure there's other fridge brands that have screens in there, right? It's probably not just Samsung. But each run in this game is going to consist of a timer. You have maybe start with 10 seconds to break as many asteroids as possible, and then it'll open up the upgrade screen. You'll purchase upgrades, and then you'll go back in and do another run. The size of the black hole will reset, all the asteroids will reset, and then if you've purchased upgrades for like increased spawning numbers, so like maybe by default there's 10 of these asteroids. There's 10 of the asteroids out there, and then when you level up the black hole, the asteroids will respawn. So we won't get a respawn here because we don't have enough matter. So you need 10 matter, I think, to get to the first one. If you watch, when we actually level up, it gets bigger, and then all of these respawned. Hey there, is it alright if you share your GMTK game jam here? I'm so close to 50 ratings, and more than that, I'd love to have you look at it. Obviously, if you want to focus on my own game. I am going to focus on, I'm not playing GMTK game jams today, but congratulations on almost 50 reviews. That's absolutely crazy. Is there anything you learned from the game jam that you're incredibly proud of? I'd like to hear that. I love hearing what people learn from things. And so as you keep leveling, you're going to go to the upgrade screen. Buy upgrades that will increase, like when they respawn, maybe you have asteroids have a 5% chance to spawn as green. And a green asteroid is twice as dense and gives you twice as much matter, but has a little bit more health. And so you're going to be basically leveling up your leveling up the spawn chances of things, the spawn amounts, the spawn rates, and then what you're going to be getting. You'll also be getting minions and ways to automate this, i.e. like one of the first 2 upgrades you'll get is going to be an auto clicker that will just turn off your having to click this, and you'll immediately have an auto clicker going out. But then maybe you also have one that increases I mean, there are already ones that increase the size and scale of this, and maybe increase the timer you get. It's really based off of, I was looking at some other incremental games, because it's really interesting how the incremental space works. There are a bunch of games in the incremental space, and I was talking to somebody, and it was actually Thornity. I was talking to Thorny about it, and we're like, there's like 12 Lego pieces to what makes an incremental game. And when you are building one, you get to pick which ratings, or which 3 Lego pieces you want to put together. And as I was looking, so this is the game here. Hey Firebelly, how you doing? How's the GMTK game jam for you? I saw you were streaming it. I saw this one, Keep on Mining. One, massively successful. Calculator. So it is a $5 game. If we times it by, we'll call it 2,000. We'll actually do exactly numbers. 1950 times 5 times 30. This game is probably made somewhere around $300,000. And it's been out for a little over a week. that crazy? Isn't that crazy? But I like this gameplay loop. Quite a bit. Because I'm struggling. I was struggling with... I was working on a spawning system. Hey, Forgotten. How you doing? Happy Friday. I was working on a spawning system. Because one of the big things I wanted to do was figure out how do you get this upgrade system in these spawners. And, oh boy. Where is it? Tutorial game 3. I don't even know. Scope creep. But as I was working on it, I was like, I don't know what I like about this. I don't know. Like, it was essentially, I was going to make you have spawners that you could buy. And you click on the spawner, and it would increase the density. So if it's spawning red asteroids right away, you would click on a purchase button. Oh, I have this posted somewhere. Oh, it's in my Discord. Yes. Here it is. So if you have this spawner, and the spawner would be spawning one red asteroid, and you upgrade it with paying for money, and then it would upgrade the type to like a green one. So it'd be a denser asteroid, more health, but more matter. And you'd keep doing that, and once you got to the high enough tier, so it'd go like red, green, blue, purple. After purple, it would turn into a planet spawner, and it'd be spawning red planets. And I thought this was an interesting way of having a resource dump, some really nice progression in there. And the problem I ran into is the UI UX issues. I didn't know where to put these spawners. I didn't know where to place them for them to feel good. I didn't know how to like tie into the spawning system and the upgrade system, and like there's something really simple I want out of this game, and it's not like there's 5 different types of systems for you to interact with. I wanted there to be like, there's one progression system you interact with, and then you go to the main game and you play the game, and you get currencies that let you interact with that progression system. I didn't want there to be these like few disjoint progression systems that had like weak interactions, and I'm trying to like simplify down the space to say like, what is the one progression system? And I really like a tech tree. I'm a Path of Exile player at heart. I really like a tech tree. I really like them. They're great. They're fabulous. And so I worked through this. I had some design laid out. I considered some other options. And I still didn't quite like this. Like I sat down to make it on Thursday, and I couldn't make it. And then I found that game. I found this game. I saw this game. I saw Wanderbots play it, and I was like, "This is a solid game loop." It's a solid game loop. I haven't played it yet. I do need to play it. You know, and then you just have a tech tree full of stuff. Just full of stuff. Absolutely full of stuff. I like that. Fireball says your GMTK went really well. Your game was well received, to your surprise. Excited to see what the results are. When did they come out? Did they come out today? Congratulations. I was not able to finish it myself, But I feel like it was still a success. I had set the goal of hanging out and trying to have fun with the streams I did last week, and kind of Friday-ish, I just kind of fell apart and mentally, a little tired, little lack of self-confidence, and there's previous versions of myself that would have kind of just like pushed those feelings aside, poured a bigger cup of coffee, and gotten myself to just enjoy, like to actually just take a break that I needed. Just take a break that I needed. And I was talking to my therapist about it, and I'm like, it was a failure. And he's like, well, was it? You know, was it? And I was like, well, maybe not. Because I'm also proud of myself for being able to like, be like, I needed to the time. And like, I feel disappointed that I didn't finish it. And I feel like I let like some chat people down who were hanging out having a good time. But boy, it felt good to like take the time I needed to and like start feeling better, like not feeling burnt out and feeling more confident in myself and like feeling, just being able to take care of myself. And it's a new sensation for me. It's a new feeling for me. And so it was a successful game jam. All things considered. All things considered. The results come out in 24 minutes. You've abandoned a few jams yourself. Sometimes it goes that way. Breaks are super important for sure. Absolutely. I love the idea that your goal is just to make the black hole as big as possible. It's a game about a black hole. You make it big enough, sucks in the universe, fade to black, done. That's it. I don't think there needs to be any more, any less. This isn't a game with a story. This isn't a game with characters. This isn't a game with... This is a game about a black hole. It's simple. It's sweet. It'll give you a good dopamine rush for a couple hours, and then you'll move on. I think there are... What was the black hole's childhood like? It was a rough. I mean, it's a very rough childhood. Every couple seconds, it's just resetting back to childhood. Cause it starts as a baby black hole. So at the beginning of every run, it's a new little baby black hole. Baby black hole. You gotta feed it. Now it's a dwarf black hole. Did I play any of the game jams? I did not. And play any of them. Were there any interesting categories? I know there's always like when Mark does his video, which I will watch, there's always this he always frames them in this way of like there's like 5 broad categories that people did, and then within those categories he picks like 1 to 3 games that really shined in those categories. At least the archetypes of games that like came up to the surface. Most of the games you played were arcade focused. Yeah. By the nature of a game jam like this, I think a lot of them have to be. I'll be interested to see what Mark ends up playing in his top 100. Did I ever play the first Clicker Heroes that was on the web? No, I have not. It's static now. So what I need to do right now, right meow, is I need to, when this timer goes down to 0, if run timer is less than 0, upgrade screen dot show screen. And then when we hide screen, we need to reset the main game. I'm just gonna do this really hacky right now. Global dot main dot time dot run timer equals 6.0. A mesh instance 2D. What the fuck's a mesh instance 2D? Node used for displaying a mesh in 2D. A mesh instance 2D can be automatically created from an existing sprite 2D via tool in the editor toolbar. Select the sprite 2D node and choose sprite 2D convert to mesh instance 2D at the top of the 2D viewport. What's the advantage of it? You can deform sprites more easily with it. A mesh texture. What's a mesh texture? A mesh is a type of resource that contains vertex array-based geometry, divides its surface. Each surface contains a completely separate array of a material used to draw it. Design-wise, a mesh with multiple surfaces is preferred to a single surface because objects created in 3D editing software commonly contain multiple materials. The maximum number of surfaces per mesh is renderServer.maxMeshSurface. Single draw call, millions of objects. How do I... So like right now I have my asteroids are little rigid bodies. And then they have a polygon 2D in them. And I pick the node, I pick the points basically using noise on the polygon 2D. How do I do that with a mesh? Because the fun thing is the asteroids hit each other. They don't have to necessarily. I don't know if that actually gains me anything other than like the performance is worse. But I'll be honest, like people complain about performance in the web build, and I'm like, it's perfectly fine. I've had no performance issues on a local build, like a local to my computer. So I think this comes into the category of like trying to over optimize way too soon. You know, like the game has to be fun and good before optimization even fucking matters. But I'll keep that in mind for when I need to. Did someone say optimization? Should I just start banning anybody who talks about optimization so they learn their lesson? Gone, gone, gone. No. We make unoptimized piles of shit that don't run well, but they're fun. Spawners could be white holes. Can I show you what the game looks like with the other palette? Because that's something easy to do. Where the fuck's the palette? Refs. Palette. I don't know if this is going to work that well, but let me show you. Nope, it did not work well. Shit. That's okay. The other one was awful. Well, the other one was it was broken. It's supposed to have a dark background. The hole is light. And then it actually doesn't look bad. It's basically like this black dark ground. Okay, we need to have a on main here. We need to have a like start new run. Function start new run. And this is going to do timer. We're gonna change music. What do you want to listen to today? Classic rock. I mean, classic rock's a classic for a Friday. That's pretty good. '90s country. No, I'm okay. I'm good. Thank you, though. CT says you decided to go again on the gauntlet. You have to get back to Malachi. How far did you wait? Again is implying you died again. How far did you get? I literally went and killed Brutus, and I said, you know, I'm good. I'm okay. I'm okay with this. I've been doing hardcore PoE2 runs though. I think CT don't hate me, CT, but I'm pretty sure I like PoE2 more than PoE1. WASD, the abilities and the boss fights are just all so much more fun than PoE1. Hey, Rustic, good evening. You died in an Act 5 Innocence. He shotgunned me with his ball lightning. I could see Innocence being... Innocence is normally a boss I accidentally die on. Like in not Gauntlet. Just because you're like, at that point in the run, you're starting to get really powerful, and so you stop really paying attention. And he has a few abilities that can actually shit on you. WC is comfy, yeah. HJKL. HJKL. Why those 4 keys? A Vim user? God, I remember trying to use Vim at one point. I like buttons, I like UIs. My brain, I'm dyslexic, and my brain is so bad at hotkeys. I'm just so dog shit at remembering hotkeys, and it's just something my brain's never been good at it. I think it's why I was never really good at playing StarCraft 2. One sec. Did my camera die? My camera did die. Oh, shit. Properties. One sec. Deactivate, activate. All right, sorry about that. You're so stoked for the tonight, that guy Loki says. Finally doing another playtest of my game after about 2 months with some friends. Ooh, what is the big changes? What are you so excited about? Run timer. Let's up a mod for this. Util. Run timer. Run timer base. Run timer scale. Run timer base equals 10 seconds. Plenty. I think 10 seconds is good for base. We can always change it. Well, welcome everybody. I hope you're having a good day. Right now we're working on a game about a black hole, nailing down the core gameplay loop and answering the question, what's the goal of the game and what's the win condition? And also trying to, like, one of the cool building blocks of an incremental game is how do you get your player to do the upgrades? There's like more incremental idle games where you're just sitting there kind of watching stuff going and automating, and like as you get money you can like click on them, and like Gambler's Table comes to mind. I was taking some inspiration from this game as well, for a little bit, where you flip coins, and then as you're flipping coins you get to come over here and start buying things, and you're like buying little upgrades. Hey, Gingy Ninja. Thanks for the Prime sub. Appreciate that. And this is interesting. Right? This is interesting. Cheers. How'd you find me if you're new to chat here? Is it the nice mustache? I shaved. I got a haircut this week. We chopped all the hair off. Look at that. It's not all off. I actually, it's quite a nice length. And then I trimmed up my beard and my mustache today. Been watching my YouTube videos. Awesome. There's a YouTube stream going on as well if you want to listen to it. That's to everybody. Twitch, the big thing Twitch is going to have, music being played. If you don't want the music, you just want the stream, go over to YouTube and you can do it as well. You'll refund the Ko-fi donations or coffee donations if you shave your mustache. Fair enough. I trimmed it up. I've done resets before, and I don't like resetting it because I like it. I quite like it. You push so much into that last update just with overall new content. The main loop has felt solid, just need more fluff, which I crammed in a lot of. Awesome. Yes, yeah. Arcadeness says a lot. You played a lot of incremental games, and they're podcast games. Yeah, exactly. That's actually a really good way of putting it. And so you're doing one interaction, You're doing one thing, you upgrade that, and you get a steady stream of upgrades. That's a really good point. I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. Hey, Thornity. Runtime, base time, scale. Let's grab those. I want to just like function set run timer. Timer base equals global.get mods util dot mods dot timer base times. I suppose I can just do this up here. Run timer scale. What are the percentages next to those node icons? Oh, these are awesome. These things are awesome. If you've never done them before, so if you have, say I want to have a reference to something in my ready function. Say I want to do something here. Let's say I want to take this label here. And this is in here, this is this label, baby black hole. Let's say I wanted to set that. And if I don't have that percentage, this is what you see. I'll make it a little bit bigger for you. This is what you see. You have the direct path to get there, like a folder path. But then if I move this anywhere else, that changes this path, so I'd have to go ahead and upgrade it and change it. And so what they added a couple of years ago was basically a relative path. So you can right click and say access as unique. And when I click and drag this in, I just have to have the name of it. So then no matter where I change this in this scene, I'll always have a reference to it. And I can quickly then edit and change the ordering of things. And this is especially helpful for UI elements, also helpful for 2D nodes. But then you get these like really nice clean references that you don't have to ever like break. I remember before they put this in like Godot, I think they added it in Godot 3.5 potentially, but I remember 3.4, 3.3, 3.2. It was like if you change something, your whole project would come to a screeching halt. And so what ended up happening was you had all these, you did a bunch of export references, and you'd have a reference on an export, and you'd pick which node it is, so then it would be referenceable. But this is such a great quality of life change. Honestly, I always make these tip videos about Godot. One of the top tips, absolutely one of the top tips to like say like, hey, this is what I suggest you do, is this percent notation here. Saves a lot of headaches. Are the chats combined? No, they're not. They're not. You could open up both streams if you want to. You can open up both streams if you want to. I'm looking at both. I look at both chats though. So if I'm chatting, there's a lot of times that I'm not making up people's comments. I could now. I absolutely could. So we're gonna go back to main now, and what was I doing? Reset run. Reset run. I think on the object manager then. Object manager here. I need a button to like be able to reset it. And then we can go for asteroid and get all active asteroids. return asteroid, passing an asteroid. And I think this should be good enough to... Hey, Bear Like Lion, how you doing? How's it, Godot? It's Godot well. How are you doing? How's Surf's Up? Surf's Up game. Nice work. 300 reviews. Oh, that was a cool looking map. Very cool looking. Been fighting with netcode and Godot 4.4.2. Is 4.4.2 out yet? Or you're just optionally on 4.4.2? AMD's new driver for Battlefield 6 borked Vulkan. Shoot. Oh, okay. He's like, happy Friday. I was playing Battlefield 6 yesterday with my buddies. Quite fun. Quite fun. But there's some weird bugs, but that's why they're doing a beta. But the game's like, that game's pretty fun. We have 4 people who can't enable secure boot. There's already cheaters in Battlefield 6 with it on. Yeah, that makes sense. It's surprisingly hard to get into the beta for that game because like you have to watch Twitch, you have to get your code, you have to log into your Epic or not Epic account, your EA account, whoever the fuck made the game, you have to log into that account. You have to then connect that to Steam potentially. Then you have to like figure out how to enable your secure boot and like a lot of times that means you have to go into your BIOS. And you know what a lot of people have no idea how to do? To go into their BIOS. And so it's like a surprising number of steps to get into the beta. A surprising number of steps to get into the beta. But even though when the betas are open for everybody, you're gonna have to get the secure boot. It was the #1 result when you Google search boot not enabled. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. What am I doing here? Reset. I don't know if this is good enough. I'm just going to call this here and see what happens. On main object manager dot reset. Did it reset? Oh, I have to call this from the upgrade screen. I think I gotta do it here. What I'm hoping to see here is when I go to the upgrade screen, it comes back and they're all gone. Yeah, like that. That guy Loki converted your Prime sub to a tier 1 sub? I didn't even know you could do that. I didn't even know that was a thing you could do. Thank you. Ads are about to start in a minute. That guy Loki is not going to get ads because they have a Prime sub. So check if you have a Prime sub. I always forget it. In fact, I might have a Prime sub right now that I have to go do. You don't have to use it here. Just go use it on somebody. It's free money that Daddy Bezos has for you to hand out to people. Anarok, did I get that? Is that right? Anarok, thank you very much for the Prime sub. Cheers. So ads are about to start. I stand up during that time, take a quick break. I will be having a podcast here at some point today, probably within the next hour or so with Thomas Stewart. Should be pretty good. Yes, Thornity is correct. If you use your Prime sub here, I will love you more. It is objectively more than if you use it somewhere else. For those over on YouTube, you get a chill. That podcast sounds lame. Yeah, it's a pretty lame guess there, Thomas. It's a pretty lame guess there. When do you want to do it? My next question to you. And then we can do, I need a object manager here. Start new run. Object manager. Function. Spawn stuff. All right, the ads are running. And I can turn the ad banner on. Why is that not working? All right, I'll be right back. Oh, the ads aren't going. They start in a minute. I snoozed them on accident. I'm so bad at my job. I'm so bad at this. How? All right. I'm back. How are we doing? Thomas, you're free whenever. How about in like 30 minutes? How about 30 minutes? I need to fix my timer as well on Stream Elements. Stream Elements. Near miss, dashboard. Timer, stream tool, chatbot. Timer, main timer. Emote black hole, the Irmis bundle. Join Discord, Irmis bundle, YouTube. I have a podcast. Let's go, creepers. Let me get a link to that. Oh, yeah. One second. Over 1,000 subs on that. Save. You saw cat paws in the back. Well, kitty cat. There's just one little paw. Hey, Stephanie Knight, how you doing? Good morning as well. Or it's afternoon for me. It's afternoon for me. 10:40 your time sounds good. Yeah, that's about 30 minutes. Sweet. All right. Let's go over here. Will the upgrade screen always be separate screen? Is this an intentional UI design? Well, what if I told you it's not a... Well, now the ads are going. What if I told you it's not a separate screen? It's all one. It's just right here. Boop. I'd also be interested if you have an idea for how to make it not a separate screen. Upgrade manager. All right, now the ads are running. I really fucked that timing up, didn't I? Hey, Adrian, how you doing? We want object manager. Object manager. And then we can do spawn stuff, which looks like... I think it's this. Spawn stuff. Go back to main. You waste a click opening it. You do not click anywhere, my friend, to open it. You make it dockable? What if I told you making it dockable is a fucking click, buddy? It's a fine suggestion. I think you could add it to your game. All right, we need to reset the size of the black hole. which is done here. We can do global dot black hole dot level manager dot level equals 0. What pizza we got today? Pepperoni. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, we're dual streaming now, Exofang. There's no music on YouTube though, so if you want music, you have to come over to Twitch. Okay. I'm not sure if it's working quite well enough, but, you know. That's certainly working. It is resetting its size. It's not resetting its mass. Level manager. This is a very long way to write all this stuff to equal 0. Was level up is false. Came back to Twitch just to give me some Bezos bucks, but I prefer YouTube, so back there. Fair enough. Thanks for the Bezos bucks. Been out of the loop, busy with some health issues. Well, I hope everything's okay. And if it's not okay, I hope that you can find some solace in that. That's okay. Something I'm trying to work through myself, that in moments where I don't feel like things are okay and things are challenging, it's okay to, I guess I get in my head sometimes where I'm like, I feel X, Y, and Z. I feel these difficult emotions and I feel bad about having those emotions. And then that's like a spiraling process in my brain. I'm not done with Hexagod. No. I recently just added a new set of where's the tweet? Not tweet. Oh no, nothing spawned. Why did nothing spawn? Give me a second. Recently added some new shapes to Hexagod. My plan with Hexagod is to basically, in my free time, design content and then sit down every couple weeks and do like a 5 to 10 hour session of working on Hexagod and then push that out as a new build. So just slowly adding more content and like reworking older content. And I'm just going to do that for the next, like, I don't know, 10 to 20 weeks or something like that. And just slowly pump out more content until I feel like the game has enough in there. Because I don't see any rush to get the game done. And I'm interested in this game right now a lot. And so there's basically just going to be like some passive work being done on Hexagod at this point. So yeah, not anywhere close to done. Comfortable with the core gameplay loop and now adding in content to the core gameplay loop. So I just added a bunch of new shapes in yesterday, which was cool because I sat down and I knew what I wanted to do and I knew how I wanted to do it. And it took me an hour and a half to implement it in, which I thought was great. Absolutely great. But happy Friday, everybody. My name's Aramis. Welcome. Hope you're having a good day. Main. Good strategy. Generally speaking, I'd say my strategy is one of just one of trying to make sure that I am understanding that I need to treat myself correctly in the long run here and pivot my direction constantly and like be optimizing and looking forward and trying to make smart decisions with my time. Intentional. I think intentional decisions, maybe not smart. Smart maybe is too much pressure on me. And I'd say generally speaking, like there's a feeling of trying to slow down a bit to be more intentional. You know, like have a new game idea instead of like directly running really fast and making it. Trying to slow down, write the idea down, and like I have a cool idea for a game I want to make in here. Super cool idea that I want to make that feels really personal to me, and I think that could be a cool direction to go. But I'm gonna wait and let it sit. It'll be over there in that book. It's not going anywhere. I think one of the cool things that I've been trying to understand, and I've been listening to a lot of podcasts from other creative people, and they were talking about, it was some joke that Mike Birbiglia told in his podcast, and he's just like, he got in a cab with a Irish cab driver, and the Irish cab driver was talking to Mike, and he said, I went to this comedy festival over the weekend, and there was 5 comedians there, and 2 of them sucked, and they knew they sucked. And Mike was laughing about it because he was presenting at that. He was part of that comedy festival. And he's like, I wonder if I was one of the people who sucked. And then he said, do I know if I suck? And his guess, he said, well, if I got to talk to a comedian and they knew that they were bad, that is someday going to be a good comedian because they're self-aware enough to know that they're not good. And that means they're going to be working on their craft to get better. I don't think I'm a good game developer is what I'm trying to say. And I know that. And that means I have things I need to work on and things that I need to basically like find how to do them or find people who can help me do them in a way that complements my skill set and adds to that in a nice way. And so I think I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm good at game development, but I'm not that good. Right? I think a lot of us here want to make that game that feels unique to us, the game that feels like a well-crafted thing, that everything put together feels good together. It is this really, really well-made game, this kind of magic juice, this magic sauce, right? I think a lot of us have that sensation in us. But I think that to get there, you have to... So many comedians I listen to in these podcasts have been at it for decades and decades and decades, grinding and learning and growing and changing and trying new things and committing that time to the long-term growth. And I think if I want to get there, I have to be doing it in a way that works for me. Caffeinated Studio says, I'd say I'm in the upper tier of game devs because I take an idea and I execute on it. Not many do. I appreciate that. And I don't think you're wrong necessarily, but it's like, I want to make a game that is like this next level, you know. And sure, putting me in a group of people who can actually like has made games is awesome. But now I'm in that level and I want to it's not a competitive thing, but it's more like, I think the hardest thing is I'm gonna have no idea if I get there. Gingy says, I'm not afraid to put myself out there, which is huge. I've been, you've met many talented artists who will never go anywhere because they're full of fear and self-doubt. I'm full of fear and self-doubt. I'm full of feelings of incompetency. I'm working through those things with my therapist. I've identified that I get a lot of my self-confidence from external sources. I don't like that. Because that's relying on other people. It's relying on my partner. It's relying on my friends. It's relying on you here in Twitch chat and YouTube. Like, that's absolutely part of the reason why I've done content is I'm pretty sure it is to get some external validation that what I'm doing is good. It's good enough. So I'm full of that shit. Absolutely full of it. And I'm working on it. But one of my goals this year is to meet new people. Meet other developers who have had success in this industry. It's why I do my podcasts. It's why I'm on other people's podcasts. And I'm pushing myself to get out of my comfort zone to meet new people. Because I think there's a lot I can learn from other people. Jane the Moon says absolutely. Hell yeah. Nah, life's hard. Life's fucking hard. Shit ain't easy. It ain't easy, and it's like it's this constant struggle of having to come back to this like I feel like I can break into these modes and these emotions by putting in the work to be like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing and that's okay. And there's this acceptance of that, and it's like there's this working back to that always, because then I lose sight of that quickly, right? I get overwhelmed, and all of a sudden I'm like, I had to work back to that emotion and that like that tranquility. There's so many things distracting us in our lives. Ugh. I don't know what I'm doing, and that's okay. Yeah, that song, I'm gonna play it. John Bellion. This song is perfect. So Fang says you really appreciate the transparency and authenticity you brought to your game dev journey. I'm glad it helps. Were you streaming before you quit your job? Or do you have an audience at that point? I had started making YouTube videos. I've quit my job twice now to make games. The first time I had done a couple YouTube videos, I think I had like 100 YouTube subs or something like that. I started streaming during that first stint back in 2022. 2021, I don't fucking know. A couple years ago. It was like a 9-month stint. I started streaming back then. And I streamed occasionally. Then I had like a 16-month period where I had a job again. And now I've been doing this for a long time. Another 16 months. I'm here for a while. Hey Ray, how you doing? What am I doing? Spawn stuff. Why is this not working? Get asteroid. Return asteroid. I want to see how many things I'm iterating through here. Is that better? I can't hear it on your end. Is that better? I turned up a little bit. You think I was doing the a balloon knot? Yes. So it does find 25 things to reset. And then this is looking for target number of objects is 25. The pool is 25. I mean, perhaps I just spawn one for each object in the pool instead of whatever the fuck this is. Is that better? I want to believe in a little bit more there. I suppose now that I have the YouTube stream, if you don't want to listen to music, you can go over to the YouTube stream and listen to it over there. You're the Prime boy again. Perfect, perfect. Thanks for the Prime sub. It feel weird not having the little. I mean, that's a pretty 9-month sub. Sheesh. Is that the green looking one? I think that's maybe the blue. I did Roy G. Biv. Classic. Let's do John Bellion Radio. Looks a little nuclear. It does look a little nuclear. Hey, Zossi. How you doing, my friend? You still rocking that mustache these days? You all think my mustache is good. You guys see Zossi's mustache. Woo! They can grow quite the mustache. I really wish there was... That's the nice thing about mustaches. They come back. They're self-regenerating. You shaved a couple months ago. How weird did it feel to shave it? I've done that before. I've gone like completely baby face. I'm like, ugh. It's not a great look. It felt cold. Yeah, but then you don't get food in it. You know, that's when I'm like, when I drink something and then I need to wipe my mouth constantly because my mustache drips into it. Yeah. Mustaches, yes, not always here. Fair enough, courtesy of Endo. Fair enough. Fair enough. Sometimes you have a haircut and that's the last time your hair will be there. Who knew it was a lifetime commitment? Deep in your gut, you probably did. I remember talking about that on our podcast. That was like the first 5 minutes before we started recording was just like chatting about being bald. And how you have like this special connection with people who you're like, hey, I get it. What a fun, like, it's like an interesting club to be a part of, I suppose. The people who've committed to being bald. Because it's like, there's a certain personality trait to the person who's like, yeah, I'm going to commit to this. And most people, I mean, I think everyone looks way better than like that weird in-between phase. People who just choose to go fully bald. There's a personality trait about that. Have you felt that at all, Courtesy Vendor, when you've been like talking to other people who are bald, like that there's a certain connection that you can find with them? Because then there's some people who don't ever do it who should. And that's also a personality trait. There's some confidence to it, controlling your own destiny. Hell yeah. Spawn stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go back to spawn stuff here. So we get the original set. I'll kill some of them. Oh. Oh. Can do asteroid dot is active equals false. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think what I want to do here is going to be like plan out the next couple upgrades. Oh, we're poor. Black hole's not resetting its size. That's guy spelled level wrong. Shoot. Shoot, 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 shoot. Alright, I need to see if it resets its size. It's still not doing it. Black hole. Oh. Old code. If data dot was level up equals true, then we emit grew. Okay. There we go. Now it'll grow. And now it'll shrink. Cool. That's not right. Dwarf black hole. We need to change the name in main. Update. Luckily, we have a method for that. Update, not break, update name. Cool. All right, I am gonna run a quick ad break now, and then Thomas and I are gonna get our podcast set up and ready to go. So if you have questions for the two of us that you want us to talk about, we're gonna talk about the GMTK game jam and just generally let that conversation flow. But if you have questions that you want us to talk about, then this will be a great format to do it in. Yeah, we're gonna stream it live here. Well, here being Twitch and here being YouTube, so y'all get it together. Is this a clicker? It is gonna start as a clicker, and then it's gonna one of the early upgrades you're gonna get. This is done. Animate the black hole resources gained. Finish when you buy upgrades, reset and respawn stuff. Add tech tree upgrades. Like number 2 is an auto clicker. And we could even make it be auto clicker from the beginning. I'm not too worried about it. Minions. Density of asteroids. Rarity of matter from asteroids. I don't know. A few things going on here. All right, I'm gonna run the ad break quick, and I'll be right back. I'm gonna take a quick break, stand up, stretch, and then we're gonna start the podcast with Thomas. So I'm gonna get that set up when we get back. Thanks for hanging out. I'll be right back. We start recording quickly. Controls, start recording. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Start recording. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Let's see if it plays the start recording. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12, 13. Perfect. It does not play the audio, the music. So we can keep listening to music during the podcast, which is going to be good. Let me pull open Discord. Okay. All right. I'm making some tea, and I will be back in a hot second here again. BRB. Okie dokie. Hey, Sesh, how are you doing? Ready when you are. Ready when you are. He's the same. What do you want to listen to during the podcast? Perhaps we just do some chill music. This is what I listen to when I do podcasts. That was John Bellion Radio. So you don't know who John Bellion is, and you like that music, go listen to all of his music. He's one of my favorite artists of all time. You're automating monthly expense reports. That seems really loud. Sorry. How's that? How's that? I'm gonna change my title here. Game dev. Ooh, do I need to start a... How do I start my virtual camera? Tools.
Test. Can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
I can.
Can you see me? No, you can't.
No.
Controls, start virtual camera. Come on.
Come on.
Settings. How you doing?
Doing all right. Failed to start camera. Oh, there we go.
Hi.
Hello,
How you doing?
man. It's Friday. Pizza Friday.
Do you have pizza
I had pizza last night.
on a Thursday?
wait.
You heathen.
Yeah. The flesh got the better of me.
I mean, I've had my pizza since Monday, and I definitely looked at it every night because I ate salads these last couple nights, and
Yeah.
looking at a salad compared to a pizza, I'm like, it's like I just really want this pizza right now.
Yeah.
Now I get the reward for having waited. What'd you have?
Domino's.
Domino's.
Not my top choice, but solid. Step up from Little Caesars.
It is, and you get a good deal.
Yeah, they always have good coupons if you buy more than one, and then we just have leftovers.
Yeah. Do you and your wife get along well when it comes to choosing pizza toppings?
Oh, not at all. She has a philosophy where she wants to get something that you can't buy anywhere else. So if we ever go to a restaurant or no matter the establishment, she wants something that is unique to the pizza place. And I'm like, I just want something that I know is good. Give me something with like even just pepperoni I'm happy with, or like the classic like sausage and olives and pepperoni. Like that's usually my go-to. And so I get excited when I eat pizza by myself because then I can order whatever I want.
I'm down for like a chill pizza. It's just like pepperoni, or like even just like a good cheese pizza. I'm like, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with just a lovely cheese pizza. I feel like especially if I go to like a nice place or a new place, I'm like, let me just what's their baseline pizza? Let's see how that is. And we'll work our way to like maybe more exciting.
Yeah, I have a buddy who is like a self-proclaimed pizza aficionado, and he said he always gets the margarita pizza wherever he goes because then he has that sort of baseline to compare pizzas to different establishments. But I'm like, yeah, it's a way of life.
It is the way of life. It's like I'm just setting up stuff. Game dev.
I'm recording my audio locally because I feel like the last couple times we've done this over Discord, my audio has been kind of low quality.
Yeah. We could if you want to, we could do Riverside if you want to.
I think it's easier to just do it this way, and then I can just send you my audio and you can just throw it in, unless you don't want to even mess with it.
I can't throw it in though because I just recorded it all together, baby.
Yeah,
you, me, and we're just one. So I mean, like, I suppose I could probably try to snip you out, but and put in the other one. But that's just above and beyond what I'm trying to do. Yeah, I don't have I don't have your feed, and then I could probably figure out how to do that.
Not worth the time.
It's not that it's not worth the time. It's just like I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
It's a nice thing about
the beauty about podcasts is you can just hit record and start going.
Yeah. And that's like, I think that's where I've realized I'm like the reason. Well, maybe we start recording. Always be recording.
That's right.
Before we get going, how does everybody sound? This is me talking at my normal volume. There's music playing on Twitch. There's not music in the recording, and there's not music on YouTube.
Perfect.
How does Thomas sound now that Thomas is talking?
How do I sound? Testing 1, 2, 3. I want to sound at least 20% louder than Aramis.
I'm hard to break it to you, but I think I'm 20% louder.
God dang it. That's such a power move to like lower somebody's volume output while you're talking to them.
It's happened in a few podcasts where I looked at because you can put it into DaVinci Resolve and I can see those like the spikes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, all my talking is so much louder. I was like, shit. You can still hear the other people, but it's clearly like all of a sudden I'm talking. It wasn't enough for me to want to go through and scrub all of it, but I'm like, I'm certainly louder.
Yeah. I'm telling you, man, Riverside is the way to go. You get everybody's audio and video separately, but you download it so that it's timeline aligned already. So you can just drop it in, it's already matched up.
Yeah.
Easy as pie.
I will probably switch to it because we just did that for the Playable Workshop podcast where we're talking about game dev stuff, and that worked out really well. Like the actual video itself looks really cool for what Nick ended up doing with the edit to like get 5 people showing, and like then all 5 of us were together at some points in these little like boxes and stuff. I'm like, that looked really, it looks really nice. Yeah. So
it was neat. I haven't listened to it yet, but I clicked on it to look at it a bit, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. How fun.
Yeah. It was it's the biggest bummer of the podcast is not all of us were super familiar. Like I know all of those people a little bit, but like the end of the podcast, we're all laughing and we're all like, it's a normal conversation where that first 30 minutes of a podcast is so like, I don't know. Have you felt that when you're talking to people at all? When you're like interviewing people on your podcast, where like the first 30 minutes is hard?
Yeah. Well, it depends on the people. And like, I try and bring on people that I'm excited to talk about. And so I usually do a little bit of research so that I have some notes about like, these are the games that they've released. This is kind of what, if they have a YouTube channel, what content they make, you know, so that I have a little bit more background to them. Usually what I found is some people are just a lot easier to talk to than others. Sure. And so some of it feels very rigid where I'm like, okay, let's go on to my next bullet point question, you know, where other times it's just like super organic and like, I love it when I can just kind of go off the cuff and follow tangents, you know, and just kind of
make it a conversation, not an interview.
Yeah, exactly.
So I feel like when people are getting interviewed, it can be sometimes be hard to make it feel flowy in that way.
Yeah. And as a podcast consumer, I am so sensitive to when I feel like a podcast host is uncomfortable. Like I hate the idea of listening to people talk, but you just feel the awkwardness in the conversation. So I really try and keep things natural when I'm talking to people and just keep it super, super chill.
Has it changed how you listen to podcasts? Because I think that's something I've really tried to pay attention to is how do the good people like Dax Shepard, and I guess that's the big one I'll name, but like so quickly he makes people feel like he's on their side and he breaks into them just chatting and having a good time. Has it changed how you listen to podcasts to be like, how can I maybe replicate, or how do people do that icebreaker, or?
Not at all. The only thing that the only reason that I do podcasts is entirely selfish because they're very easy to produce and I get to ask people who have done interesting things how they did it. And so it's literally just like I've had these conversations behind the scenes for years now. And now I'm just recording them. The only difference is that now I have started recording little intros for a lot of my podcasts to give the audience kind of a sense of the content that's coming up, because I think that's better for capturing people's attention at the beginning. So that's it. Yeah.
Do you do like a context of who they are as well?
Yeah. Like
here's who the person, here's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, games that they've made, why they're interesting, how many YouTube subscribers they have, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I should probably do that. I kind of just like usually plug their shit at the beginning and then at the end, and try to get to the content as quick as possible. But podcasts are different; they don't have to be so quick to the content. You kind of want to sell them on what you're going to be listening to, or like that there's a payoff at minute 45 if you listen that far.
Yeah, exactly. And most people, like, it's interesting. Almost all the feedback that I've gotten for my podcast is that people listen to it while they're working. And so I'm very much aware that I don't even have people's full attention, you know, when they're listening to it. It's like something that it's long form content, you know, so they're obviously doing something else. They're not going to be given it undivided attention. So it's a little different than other types of media.
I bet that's I mean, I feel the same way. It's kind of a freeing feeling to not have to, it's not like recording a video. Recording a video feels like much more high stakes in that way of like polishing stuff up, I suppose.
Yeah.
Having a good train of thought. Yeah.
And like I did it earlier. I started it earlier this year just because I wanted to keep my YouTube channel going. And I was like, look, I'm doing too much. I want to keep putting out some content, but like I kind of let YouTube go by the wayside for the first like 5 months of the year. But I wanted to just be putting out something. So that's why I started doing these podcasts, because they're so easy to just hit record and then publish them.
Sure.
But now it's like every podcast that I put out is getting like minimum 3,000 views and like over 10,000 views sometimes. And I'm like, oh man, now I feel responsible for having these be like nice and quality.
Like it kind of ruined it by having like some moderate success with it. You're like, oh shit, now I gotta kind of like try to do better. But like, I would encourage you to stay. I guess I encourage myself to just be like, keep these what they are, because that's why it's successful.
Yeah.
Not putting pressure on it makes it be better. Like I feel like that's with, I mean, your YouTube content the same way. I feel like both of us have taken this pivot to like genuine, just like, hey, I'm gonna record and talk to camera and keep the editing low because it's so much work to edit. And it's just like, if I can just have a good one shot and do some light editing over the top of it and then leave in the funny bits of the, like, that's something you've done so well in your recent YouTube videos, is keeping the funny, you know, mess ups and editing in a way where it's like still good and still kind of, I guess it captures your personality nicely. And I've always appreciated that. Yeah.
Thank you. It's an interesting editing style because you can't really script like bloopers into the video, but I feel like keeping them in makes it, funny. I've started doing weekly behind the scenes Patreon videos. So people who subscribe to my Patreon, I've been doing just like every Monday, sometimes on Tuesdays, but I'll just do like a really like rough, like I don't even plan what I'm going to say a lot of times, but just like a maybe 10 or 15-minute video of me just kind of giving people a recap of what I've been working on and stuff. And I am so tempted to just start doing that on my YouTube channel, because right now I'm like trying to like really position the videos that I post on there about like a subject or something that's like bigger, you know, like write out a script or an outline and do all this. But I'm like, I'm so tempted to just do like weekly, more raw videos. But I don't know. We'll see. I'm always trying to balance all of the different projects that I have, and YouTube more or less gets one of the top slots or one of the last slots.
It's a good way of thinking about YouTube. It definitely comes and goes in waves for me too. How do you feel about your balance of life? Like with life and kind of work and all the different things you're doing in it. I know what you were mentioning kind of at the beginning of the year, you've had some struggles with trying to find that balance. How do you feel about your balance right now?
Yeah, awful. So bad. I try and figure out, I'm always at war within my own mind if I have too many projects or if I am not disciplined enough. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, should I aim for less or should I be more strict with how I spend my time? And it's a hard, I don't know. The major things that take up my time are like family. You know, I have like a wife and a daughter, and that takes up a lot of time. And house projects. We bought a house a few years ago. There's a lot of stuff that needs work. Right now I have like 2 or 3 busted sprinklers in my yard, and they've been that way for a couple months. And I'm like, I need to go fix the sprinklers, you know?
It's like 3 hours minimum.
Yeah, exactly.
Like 3 trips to Home Depot, 3 hour. Like it's just,
because you're not going to get it right the first time, of course.
I've never fixed a sprinkler.
Me neither. So family, house projects, game development. I'm working on a game right now that I am trying to put together a prototype so I can pitch to publishers and get funding to complete it. That's kind of the goal for game dev right now. I was porting some of my older games to consoles, you know, trying to keep YouTube afloat. That's kind of the big stuff. So, and I never feel like I get it right week to week as far as balance goes.
Do you think other people get it right? Do you think you'll ever get it right? Do you?
Yeah, I do. Well, I talked about this in my podcast with Mr. Elliptic, where he feels like he branched out too much and he was trying to do too much. And I agree with that. Yeah. Like also like, I started putting together an online course about procedural generation in Unity, and it's like halfway done. So I want to finish that and like release it so that people can check it out. But yeah, I think that it would be much easier. Like, contract work too. That's another thing that I'm dedicating my time to. Yeah. It's like I'm working with a publisher and I'm managing like their Nintendo Switch sale events and working with developer studios and organizing trailers. A lot of like production and platform work for them. And I forgot where I was going with that. But as far as like, oh, like I'm kind of jealous of some of these developers that I interact with on the publisher side because that's all they do. They're just working on their game, you know? And I'm like, that sounds kind of nice.
Yes. How what if you tried that?
Yeah, I could. Yeah, I know.
I just thought about it too. I'm like, I could just like make my game and not talk about it. Like pull the Ponty pants and
Yeah,
just like be silent and then say, hey, I did a thing.
right.
But I also enjoy creating YouTube videos, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel the same
I
way.
guess I don't know. Like I'm talking to my therapist about my self-confidence. I definitely think that creating YouTube content and Twitch is a way of me to like externally gain self-confidence.
Yeah.
But it's also a vehicle which can destroy my self-confidence.
I'd be curious if you, because I feel like I fall into that too, where I've been like glued to my subscriber count and like trying to like I've noticed that like I feel generally happier if I have like a video that's performing well, you know, that I can like check up on every once in a while, and like I get that side of it, and how that's not healthy. But I think there's also an aspect of doing YouTube where you, at least for me, I find myself becoming like more articulate and well spoken and able to communicate my thoughts. And I feel like that's a tremendous benefit of like I don't think you should just put like all of your YouTube efforts into the category of like vain narcissism, like trying to get like commendation for, you know, things that you have to say. I mean, maybe I don't know your motivations. Maybe that is it. But I'm saying like I think there is like some things that I gain some more confidence and self-worth from YouTube that isn't just like people watching me, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think it's a singular, oh, I want someone to make me feel like I'm more confident in myself. I think there is, I think that I'd be lying if I said that wasn't part of it, maybe. But I also get the same things that you're getting from it. Like, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy like being able to talk about difficult things and like be able to have more impact on people, I suppose, and seeing people be able to connect with some of the things I talk about. I think is intrinsically good, and I enjoy doing that. And I like the idea of like today I sat down and was like, is there something I want to talk about on a YouTube video? And I didn't have an answer. I was like, well, then I'm not going to make something. Like I went to get my coffee and I was like, I could do this or that or this angle. I'm like, I don't need to talk about that right now. There's nothing. I'm like, because I was like, if I'm not feeling like doing it, then I'm not going to do it. And I think those are my worst videos, are where I'm like scraping the barrel of an idea. And I'm like, well, just don't, you'll have an idea next week. It'll be fine. No one's going to, you know, there are people who have noticed, hey, no Friday YouTube video today. And I'm like, you noticed?
Yeah.
You noticed that? I didn't. I'm like, that's insane. Because I noticed when some people like, oh, someone usually has their Wednesday video. I'm like, it's not out yet. Interesting.
Yeah.
Like, so it's very flattering that some people do that and feel that way about me.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you have a lot of things going on and you're jealous of maybe people who are single-minded in that vein, they might be jealous of you. You know, having a big following on YouTube.
Yep, it's like I've been really into sailing YouTube for a few years. Like watching people solo sail across the Pacific, or like, you know, like fix up their boats, and like I love all of it, you know, go to the Caribbean and like hop to different islands and like watching them chart their course, and oh no, the motor broke down, like we got to go fix it. Like I love all of that. But consistent advice that I've heard across different people across like the sailing YouTube niche is that every boat is a what's it called when it's like when you meet in the middle,
a compromise.
What's that? Compromise. Yeah. Every boat's a compromise. Thank you. Words. And I feel like it's the same with careers too, you know, like I feel like grateful for so much in my career, but I am jealous of some stuff that other people get to enjoy, you know, like being single-minded, just focusing on game development. And like the grass is always greener, I think.
Grass is always greener. Yeah, and I bet there's a lot of traveling on that boat that is really boring.
Yeah.
Right, that's the other side of like a lot of things we don't get to see is how boring some of it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like one of the things I guess I appreciate after doing a bunch of different things, because I have a similar long list of things I do, is that there's a very textured experience to my week. Like I worked on all 3 of my commercial projects this week. I did some, for the first time in a long time, I did some Chess Survivors development. I did some Hexagod development. I did a game about a black hole development. And like, I got done with this week. I was like, oh, that's kind of fun to do a bunch of just different things each day. And like, and you know, it's just, there's something nice about that from a creative standpoint to be doing a bunch of different things. I feel like it helps me with my burnout to not be like so single-mindedly focused on one avenue of growth.
Yeah. Yeah. And the major benefit is that I am never stuck doing something that I don't want to work on. Because if I'm like, I really don't want to program today, I'll be like, okay, I have a video that I should edit. Or if I'm like, man, I really don't feel like getting in front of a camera, I'm like, okay, let me just pull up my IDE and I'm just going to like hunker down and write some code. You know, like there's always something to fit my mood that is attractive for me to be working on and still be productive. And I think that that's a really compelling part of what we're doing.
And you get to choose it. Like, I think at the end of the day, one of the nice things about being a full-time developer and kind of on my own is that I get to choose those things. Because you would have the same sort of thing in a normal job. I feel like I always had a lot of things going on, but then that prioritization list was set by somebody else. And so being able to be control of the prioritization list is also a challenging thing in itself. It's not easy to pick what is the most important thing for me to be doing. And I get it wrong all the time, right? I think there's a lot of times where objectively, right now spending time doing this thing is maybe not the right choice.
Yeah.
But it feels better to be in control of the list than not.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And YouTube oftentimes feels like too much of a time suck for me, especially when it comes to like revenue that's coming in. Like I made $140 last month off of my YouTube channel.
That's that's a lot.
Yeah, I know.
It's not a lot objectively, but like YouTube terms, it's a good month.
Yeah, exactly. But like compare that to like game sales, and I'm like, the time commitment just does not make sense, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's something that I really struggle with.
Yeah. How did GMTK fit into all of this? How did you find, I guess, how much time, maybe that's my first question. How much time did you spend doing GMTK, and how did that fit into the prioritization, and like, why did you choose to do that, to do GMTK?
I have wanted to do a proper game jam for years now, and every time GMTK jam or Ludum Dare, every time they come up, I always have something planned on the calendar already. And so I'm like, dang, I guess I'll wait for the next one. And so I blocked this one off like months in advance. I was like really ready to go for it. And I had a couple ideas that I wanted to investigate and pursue and like create a prototype for.
Sure.
And I was hoping that the theme would fit one of those ideas so that I would have an excuse to start developing some of these prototypes. And that's exactly what happened. And I was very excited to continue working on this game and kind of just do like a very, very small proof of concept and then maybe continue working on it, because my idea is like, I want to get a game signed by a publisher so that I could get some funding to finish it. And I have one game that I'm developing like a vertical slice for that I want to pursue that with, but I was thinking about also having a second project that I could shop around as well to see if it fits, because it's kind of a completely different idea. So that's kind of how I justified spending a lot of time to participate in the jam. And then like halfway through, I just had some family stuff come up that I don't really want to talk about publicly, but it just kind of like took the wind out of my sails, and I decided to throw in the towel for the last 2 days. But I was happy with the progress that I made for the first couple of days of the jam. And it's a project that I want to keep developing.
It's interesting that, I mean, I feel like I had the same sort of thing where it wasn't maybe family stuff, but it was just like personal stuff popped up. And I was just like, I I could maybe push through and get something finished. And I was like, I'm just gonna take the time to deal with this now.
Yeah.
And like give myself grace in that moment. And by doing that, I think I look back at it now and I'm like, that was a successful decision for me. Like in the moment, I felt like I was failing. I was like, I'm failing this jam. Like I was having good streams. I'm failing people who's watching on streams and following along. And like, I set out to do this and now I'm not doing it. And like looking back, I'm like, no, it's a success for me because I made the right decision, I think, in the moment. Yeah. How do you feel about that? Kind of looking back. I mean, it sounds like some things were out of your control, but like, not actually not submitting to the jam. How does that feel?
I feel, to be honest, even if nothing had come up, I'm not sure if I could have finished the game in time, because I think the scope for what I had determined to do was slightly bigger than I should have done.
Would you say there was some scope creep in that project?
Some would say that would be a good label for it. Some scope creeped on in there, and yeah, and I think it's because I had an idea for a bigger game behind what would come past the jam, so I'm trying to like stuff in as much stuff as I can. But yeah, I don't feel bad about how far I got in it, because it would have been really nice to submit and like do ratings and all of that stuff, but at the same time, like I was telling my wife, hey, I can still make YouTube content out of this. I can make a GMTK game jam YouTube video and it's not a complete waste of time. I got some progress done on a project that I want to prototype and pursue sometime in the future, and so those are kind of the justifications that I give myself.
I feel like there's also some fun in the new project smell and like the ability to run fast, and like pull stuff together that just like you would just have it all ready to go, and you can just run so fast, and it's just like such a freeing feeling after like having slogged through some like maybe more long-term projects. Do you feel that way when you were starting the jam, to have that like
100%, dude? It's opening a new project, and I set it up so that I have a core repository of code that I now share across all my game dev projects, and I just clone that as a subrepo into whatever project I have, and then I have all of my usual utility stuff that I've coded myself, like controller functions and all the different like platforms, like how to do like my own menu system, and like even loading scenes, and like having a base scene that loads in that has a bunch of like managers that control like music, and like a core game manager, and additive scene loading, and like all of this stuff that I now get for free for every new project that I start. And it just feels like I run a million miles an hour because I can just focus on the actual gameplay that I want to develop.
Yeah. And you don't get slogged down in the like, setting up a music player, which is the same code every time, like and a volume slider and a pause button and all that stuff. Like you just gotta do the game. I should probably do something like that, because I've found Godot projects and like things that are like other people saying, here's a good template. I did it and I was like, ugh. Yeah. Not that they did anything bad.
It's just,
if anything, it was like too good for what I needed. I was like, this is too smart. There's too much going on here. And I'm like, I don't like the naming conventions. And I'm just like, maybe I need to do something like that, because there are so many common things that are just, useful all the time. And I'm at this point now, I'm like really settling into like, here's the architecture I like for my game.
Yeah.
Do you have that now with Unity? I mean, you've have a lot more game development experience in general and like professional experience, right? Do you have like your Thomas, this is my architecture for a Unity project, versus like, I guess my question, how does that differ from maybe when you were a professional developer, like working on a team?
The major benefit is that I hold the design in my head, and so I have complete context for where I see the project going, and that could change. But I know like the framework that I need. I know what's good enough, You know, like I don't need to make a system super
Sure.
robust if I don't
Yeah.
plan on expanding on it a ton. And so I can get super sloppy and I'm like, this just needs to work because it's not the focus. Whereas when I was working as like a full-time gameplay programmer, I wanted every piece of code to be pristine because who knows if we were going to build on top of it or use it in a way that it needs to be more flexible. And also somebody else may come along if I roll off the project and some other programmer comes along and they need to be able to understand it really well. So that kind of stuff I just leave on the cutting room floor and I'm like, I'm just gonna do what's fastest.
In a professional setting, it's in my head, I feel like there's a budget to go a bit slower with things, maybe because you are on a team and it does just go slower in general. Mr. Liptic rating in with 26 viewers. Thanks, Mr. Liptic. We're chatting about game dev stuff here. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Um,
and you already came up in this conversation once.
You did.
Yeah.
Very cool. In a professional setting, it can go a bit slower. Is there any movement or any moments where you still do stuff in a sloppy way in a professional like game dev studio?
No.
No.
Everything was always buttoned up when it's like the whole process of like we have coding standards and every new feature is, you know, small commits, push it up, make a pull request, it's peer reviewed, people comment on it and they comment on things like formatting the code and like white space stuff. Like it was very much a particular process to get code merged into the main branch. Yeah.
It just sounds like I used to do that, right? I was not doing game development, but like business programming. I'm like thinking about that feels so slow compared to like how I can operate. Like I sat down and did a Hexagod new build in like an hour and a half. And it's not perfect, but it was like there's some improvements. I kind of barely QA test. Like there's enough to be like, okay, it's working fine. Like I knew what I touched, I knew what I could test, and like I just ran really fast. And I literally pushed the build within 5 minutes of basically the time it took was like writing the patch notes, and that's like the build was live then. I can't imagine how slow it would feel to go back to a professional setting where I can't just like run really quick and like choose to do sloppy code because I'm the designer, I'm the product owner. I know I'm not confident in it, but like on a team, they might say this is how we want to take the game's direction.
Yep.
And I suppose they probably move slower because then they know that it's someone else's development time. And so maybe the choices that they pick are a little bit more thought through and thoughtful.
Yeah, I feel like it would be hard to do a slow programming pace like that, and still maintain ownership and like a drive to see the project like move forward. You know, like I feel like you would have to keep your head down and just be focused on keeping a good code base and not necessarily like you would just have to trust the designers that the game is moving in a good direction and like trust the producer that it's on track for the timelines that you want to hit, you know?
It's there's some GDC talking about it was like solo devs, and they said that he's like, I lost sight of how good my game is, and so I had to trust my previous self that it was good enough, which I feel that so much with my games. I'm like, I don't know if this thing's good right now. And like I think that's where a little bit of external validation on those projects can help me out, but I'm trying to get better at just being like understanding why I can't tell why it's good or bad and like trying to figure out ways to do that. As you're playtesting your games and working on things, how do you approach that? And do you feel that way when you're working on a project? Do you feel all of a sudden 100%. Like, I don't know if this is good or bad or X, Y, and Z?
I'm like, usually I'm like, oh, this game is trash. Like this sucks. And then I just am like, I don't know how I can make it feel better, but I don't know if I can make it fun, you know, and those are like different things. Like I know how to make something feel good, but I don't know if the loop will be fun. And I feel like that's a point of game development that I'm trying to grow in. And I think that like playtesting can do a lot of the heavy lifting there.
Can you get a sense if it could be fun?
Yeah. I feel it, well, it depends because I've worked on projects where I'm like, I wouldn't even want to buy this game. You know, I'm like, I'm making a game for a demographic that I don't fall into. And so that makes it a lot harder. But when I am making a game where I'm like, I'm trying to create a game that if I saw it on the store, I would buy it and play it. That makes it a lot easier.
Sure. There's somebody who is in the Playable Workshop Discord who released it's the stick figure game. What's it called? He's really part of the fighting community and has been for years, like the fighting game community.
Stick fight.
A quick, what's it called? Oh man. It's under $5.
Stick fight is awesome. I don't know.
A few quick matches.
Oh, okay.
And he is really hooked into the fighting community, so he understood what was missing, and like made a game based on basically something that he would like and love. I think that's what you're touching on too, is like making something that you would enjoy, or that you're part of a community and you watch the YouTubers who play those games. You can get really hooked into the genre and understand what it needs to be a good game in that genre.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that's how it should be. You know, like it's hard because when you first start out learning game development, you can't make the game that you want. And you have to make something that's like crappy, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, as you get better, you can start moving closer to the game that you want to make. And so I feel like I'm kind of at that pivot point where I'm like, I have the technical skills. I don't have great art skills, but I have passable art skills where I can cobble stuff together, and I can start encroaching on the development of designs that I find compelling. So, but that's also very daunting too, because then your own taste is kind of your compass, and that's difficult from somebody who comes from a programming background, I think.
Why is that difficult?
Because I'm used to productivity equaling accomplishing tasks that people have assigned to me.
And you might be going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Because like productivity is, you're basing productivity off of other people's decisions, where now it's like, I'm basing productivity off of myself. And if I'm going east and I was supposed, like west is the fun direction, and you don't know it until you're like, oh wait, I should have, okay, turn around and like go. Like I feel that. I feel that a lot. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And it's like what you were talking about, like trusting your previous self, you know, because if you're like hiking around the woods and you keep trying to pull out your map and like figure out if you're going the right direction, like you need to do that every once in a while. But if you're doing that every 10 steps, then you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah. What would be the game dev equivalent of that? Would that just be like over engineering a solution? Instead of like running really quickly up that hill to get a better vantage point?
I was more thinking of like the design, like what do you actually, like you implement this feature and then you immediately toss it out because you're changing the game design. Now it's going to be a roguelite instead of like a couch co-op, you know, like constantly changing things up because I know. Don't know.
I've certainly done the pivot. I think you did a little bit of the pivot. We've all dabbled in changing to roguelikes. It's an inevitable feeling. Like, what if I just, a little bit of randomness, a little bit of procedural gen. There we go.
Hey, bing bang boom.
Yeah. So GMTK, you started off with the goal of kind of getting a project put together.
Yeah.
Life stuff popped up, wasn't able to finish it. But you still think it's a success because you're able to start prototyping an idea that you're interested in. Which is cool.
Yeah.
Where are you going to go with that project from there? Are you going to keep prototyping it? Does it get shelved for a while in exchange for one of the many other activities you're working on? What's next for you?
It's shelved for sure. Like I need to focus on getting my micro RTS game in a playable demo state. So that's kind of my goal right now, is on the game development side of things. I want to make this vertical slice of a game that is fun to play, has a complete loop, has enough to cast a vision for what the full game could be, and then start preparing assets and documents to compile and send to publishers and see if I can get some funding. So
how do you pick the publisher you're going to send stuff to?
Well, the first person I'm going to approach is the publisher I'm doing contract work for.
It's a great first person to talk to.
Yeah. It's so interesting though, because it's an awesome gig, because I get to see behind the scenes of how a publisher operates and how they interact with developer studios, and how they sift through games that they want to fund. And like and obviously every publisher is different, but it's appealing for a publisher to fund a cool looking game with a solo developer that has a history of completing projects, because you have the reliability that they'll be able to deliver something. And if you're only funding one person, then it's like you don't have to. It's super cheap, and it's very low risk, and potentially higher reward. So kind of getting some of those behind the scenes stuff, and like seeing like I get to see like a lot of numbers for like sometimes I get to see like milestone payments for different projects, but I also get to see like how much does it cost to get like a professional Steam capsule made, or like translations into like 5 to 10 of the top languages, or like a trailer. Like what are those price points? And now that I know the ballparks for that, I can incorporate that into a budget that I propose. So
you can come with a more accurate answer, where like when I was talking to publishers, kind of just like shooting from the hip, like here's how much money I need every month. And I'm like, that's a good number, right? Cool. Awesome. Like
exactly.
But it's
these are my monthly expenses. Like that's
And like I'd like to take home some extra money from that if you're going to fund it and stuff like that. That's
yeah.
I mean, that's like it feels like a win-win situation then, where like they get to work with somebody who's obviously doing work for them, but then you're getting like a benefit outside of just simply the paycheck. You're getting like actual valuable experience.
Yeah.
And then they know you. And so if you go to them with a game, they know who they're betting on and investing in, and like hopefully that helps you be more successful with that journey.
Yeah, and I could be more flexible than other developers that approach them too. Like maybe they don't want to fund my project like a typical studio. Maybe instead of doing milestone payments, they just want to keep me working at my hourly rate, and I could just work on this project, and we could just draw up like a revenue split, but their investment is like based on like an hourly rate.
Since paying you
that's
time,
how they're already. Yeah. So who knows? I don't know. That's where I'll go first. But then if that doesn't work out, I'll just see if other publishers are interested.
That's cool. How are you feeling about it? I don't want to ask a leading question. I was going to ask a leading question. How do you feel about the anticipation of pitching to publishers?
I feel way better than I did a year ago, because I feel like so much of the black box has been open to me, and I get to see like it's so much easier for me to put myself into the shoes of a publisher and just to have honest conversations where it's like, I don't feel like I had to sell it like a proposal. I can just be like, here's my pitch. This is what I'm looking for. Like, do you think it's a good fit? And just like, if not, that's fine. Like, I understand. Like, it's not, it may or may not be a reflection of the game, but like, I understand that you might be looking for something entirely different than what I am looking for. So,
yeah. Or like, my understanding is they'll call it 10 bets a year, and they need one to pay out, and that pays for the rest of the bets. Right. And let's say they've already done their 10 bets for the year, and that's okay. It's not a reflection on you or the game, and simply just like, it didn't work out. It's okay.
Yeah, exactly. So the process I'm feeling good about. The game is, we'll see. I still am having a hard time nailing down the design, and that's hard. I have a good direction though, but I think I'll probably open it up to some playtesters with probably start with my Patreon subscribers, and then open it up to my YouTube channel or Discord, and then get some feedback before I start shopping it around. But
I think it'll be helpful for you to have somebody who has skin in the game give you feedback on it. Like, I felt this way with a little bit of like getting people who actually buy my games. Their feedback's different than people who have just play tested it in Discord or Twitch or X, Y, and Z. So I wonder if getting a publisher will help you have somebody give you some feedback that's like, yeah, we're financially incentivized for this game to be more successful now. Yeah. And here's where here's like the feedback, here's the area we want you to focus in. And then you get to have that conversation. I recently partnered with somebody to do some help with a game about a black hole. I talked to Thornity. I talked to them on a podcast, and then we kind of worked out an arrangement where he's going to help with some marketing and design and balancing of the game, because they had a lot of success working on. Hey, Thorny's in chat. How you doing? They had a lot of success with Click and Conquer, and I was like, that seems like other people have like proposed working with me, and it's usually just been like cold calls, right? Just random people saying, hey, I want to partner with a game, and like, it's cool, but like oftentimes it's not somebody who like feels like they can do something I can't do. I think that's where it's been nice, even in like, we've only been, working together for the last couple of weeks now. But it's been nice to have somebody who has some experience and some expertise in an area that I don't. Yeah. And I'm like, it felt like a good partnership because of that. And that's where I feel like with a publisher, I don't need the funding side of it, but I always thought like they have expertise in areas that I don't have. And that would be interesting just from a learning standpoint to learn about it. So why a publisher? There obviously funding could be an option and stuff like that, but are there other benefits or, kind of why publisher?
Oh yeah. Obviously it depends on the different kind of publisher that you approach. But there's a range of stuff that they offer. One of the biggest ones is dedicated QA testing and getting like, I've talked to developers who have had games go through all of the different certification processes for some consoles and get approved and everything, and then they got a publisher involved for like a particular console that they wanted to port to, and then their QA team found like over 50 bugs and just stuff that they weren't even aware of, that like they aren't being caught, when other people are trying to test them for quality assurance. So that's like a big thing, QA testing. Also marketing, not like the sort of like daily sort of social media, here's progress on the game, kind of like trickle of wish list, but more like big marketing beats, like putting together an announcement trailer, getting you into different showcases and events, and kind of people who are aware of like big stuff coming up, or like paying attention to all the different Steam sales and like, oh, this would work perfectly, and like timelines. Yeah, that's a big one.
The festivals that I've been a part of had just been like random chance. Like people reached out to me, and because there's a lot of like private festivals that other publishers put together that I'm sure if you're a part of the publishing industry, you have a much better like touch point of like those sort of like setups, and that could be a huge, not even just from Steam festivals, but even just like the big announcements, like the OTK things, and like I think Off-Brand did one, and the PC Gaming Fest, like these huge moments for people to like look and see new games coming, that I think a publisher would have a much better idea of how to get into that to begin with.
Yeah.
Airmus sends an email to them, they're just going to not respond to that email.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's like a lot of benefit to somebody who is juggling multiple projects simultaneously too, because like as a solo developer, if you are making your game and then Steam comes out with like a new thing, like the controller support wizard, and it's like, what does that look like? What does it mean to be verified with like an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller? How does that interact with like the back end? All of that stuff that you as a developer, you're like, I'm trying to put this feature into the game. Like, I don't want to learn about Steam's new feature that they put in. And like, a publisher they have come across it on all of their projects, and they know, how to get that green check mark that you need for your store page or whatever. So.
Yeah. And maybe they have a different relationship with Steam support that could, they say wait in line, and like, I'm 100% certain there's ways to cut the line, because I've been on a support staff before too. And I understand that certain clients get different coverage because they make us more money than others. So
and established relationships are like a huge thing also. Like, it's like, oh, here's the the team we usually use for trailers. Oh, here's the team that we usually use for capsule art. Oh, here's our translation team. You know, oh, here's who we recommend for console porting. And just having that as kind of like a turnkey solution is like it makes some of those questions a lot easier to answer for devs.
That it does. It's okay to ask for help sometimes. It's something I need to work on myself. I'm mostly saying that for myself. I'm not saying you have a hard time with it. I'm just like, Aramis.
Yeah.
It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah. I ask for help all the time.
Yeah.
Nobody answers though.
No one answers. Maybe somebody will.
Yeah, one day.
We had a question in chat. If you have anybody, we're just kind of chit-chatting and letting the conversation flow. But if you have questions in chat, we recorded this live on Twitch and on YouTube now. Well, the question was to both of us, how many hours per week do we put into game development alone?
That's a good question. You can answer it first if you want.
I think the actual number of game development hours ranges from like 10 to 40. It's a pretty big range. And a lot of that is it's not necessarily driven based off of, oh, I'm spending time doing YouTube or X, Y, and Z. It's really just like my mental state and how my like energy levels and stuff like that. Something I've accepted is that a lot of the time, sometimes I just need a break or to go for a couple hour walk. I need to go and like today's just not a day, and that's okay. And when I can do that, I think I'm more productive in the long run than if I'm like, this is a 40-hour week, I need to hit 40 hours. And I think that's been something that's been really hard to get over from this like grind mentality that we have in the United States of like always having to grind. And I felt guilty for a very long time, but I've been doing this for long enough now where I can like feel myself being more productive and like making better creative decisions when I do let myself have a little bit more of a natural workflow to my day and kind of ride that ebb and flow. So it is very honestly, sometimes it is a week where it's like, I only got like 10 solid hours of game dev in. And that those weeks suck, but those weeks are actually normal. And then I'll have plenty of weeks where it's 40 hours of like really high quality hourly work. Like I try not to do shitty hours of work where I'm just grinding it out. I try to like have the time I'm working be productive and high quality.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, very similar. It drastically ranges from week to week. I use a time tracking tool for when I do contract work, and now it became too much of a burden because originally I was tracking everything, so I would see how much time I put into YouTube and how much time I put into game development and how much time I put into contract work, or like admin stuff like answering emails and doing like finances and like all of that stuff. And there wasn't a great payout for that. Like I wasn't getting enough useful information from that to continue the upkeep of tracking every single minute of my day. So now I just track my contract hours, but game development time, it's just so hard because sometimes I've also found that like week to week is sometimes too small of a scope to look at time investment. Like I've been I've done like big goals for the month. I've tried that as like a planning method where I'm like, okay, I want these features done by the end of the month and I want these YouTube videos out by the end of the month, you know, and just like working towards that. So 1 week might just be all video editing where I'm like bulk editing different podcast episodes or recording and stuff, and then the next week might be all game development. And so I have no idea what my average would be, but I try and spend more time on game development than I do on YouTube because I want game development to be my primary endeavor.
I feel like if we make good YouTube videos come from having experience doing game development, you know, like I find it harder to make a YouTube video if I haven't felt like I've done something interesting in my head or like, it usually just the idea comes to me. I'm like, yeah, I want to talk about this week. And that's good. That's interesting. It's interesting that, that you're looking at how to like plan out your work. And so have you had success with that like month-long planning? Cause I feel like that for me is almost like too far out.
Yeah, it's too far out.
Like,
Yeah.
because I want to be more nimble, I think, with my time and energy and you know, taking care of myself in the long run. But like, looking at a week is also maybe too short. I don't know.
Yeah, it's something that I'm still experimenting with because I haven't figured out a good way to do it. Like I've tried using like a different like to-do list. I've tried like Kanban boards. I've tried time blocking on my calendar. Both with like specific tasks or just like general like projects, you know, like this is dedicated like video editing time, this is dedicated programming time. And I've never found something that stuck. And so I'm still experimenting with it. Right now I'm doing week-long sprints. And so I'm trying to figure out, I'm estimating what I can get done in a week amidst all of my different projects. And then using this is something Cal Newport talks about. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He talks a lot about like, he has a book called Deep Work, and he also wrote Digital Minimalism, both very good books that I'd recommend. But he talks about using a system where you pull in tasks instead of having tasks pushed on you. And so when you come into your work day and you have like your to-do list for the day, that's like a push, things that are pushed on you as a requirement. But instead, if you have a back catalog that you can pull work from, then it feels like much better for you to like make progress on because you feel more productive as you're like pulling in more stuff. And yeah.
Yeah. You're opting into it.
Yeah.
Huh. I feel like I might do something. I feel like I do something like that a bit. Like I do have lists upon lists of different things. And I feel like oftentimes it's like, especially this week, it was literally like yesterday I sat down to do something with Game About a Black Hole and I was like, nah, I'm just not. So then I did the Hexagod stuff, and I was like, I wanted to do this work, and I just did the work and put the build out, and like, I haven't thought about it that way, but I think that having that more intention of like, I have a general list of what I want to do, and then how do I choose what I basically pluck out into the doing category.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so you're trying that out, and how's that? Or no, I suppose you're trying to do sprints, but like. I guess this would be no sprint. It's much more just like, it's much more of an agile philosophy of just work on one thing at a time. When you finish that one, pull the next thing that you want to work on.
Yeah, but trying to constrain it into a week or two. But it's something I'm still experimenting with.
Yeah.
So if I figure it out, I will let you know.
I was talking to somebody about lack of self-confidence kind of tanking my GMTK jam. And I was like, I think in the long run, I need to try to find a way to like gain self-confidence internally. And he's just like, well, let me know when you figure that out or how you figure it out. I was like, okay, I'll certainly make a YouTube video about that when I get that key. I was like, I think it's going to be many, many therapy sessions away from here where I'll maybe have some sort of breakthrough. But it's funny, exactly. Like, I wonder if project management is just something that's just such an imprecise science thing because we're such like fickle beings that maybe it's just like what's working now is fine. And I don't think there is a key solution because Thomas in 3 months is going to be a very different person than Thomas now.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
It's we were talking a little bit about trusting your previous self with design choices. I think it's hard because I feel like I'm growing as a person constantly. So then there's like this sense in my head that like past me was an idiot. And like, I know so much more because I have hindsight on his decision making. And so it's like, it's hard to trust some of those things looking back. Even like looking at our own code, right? You look back at old code and you're like, well, what the fuck was I thinking? Because you didn't have hindsight of what you would eventually need. How do you feel about past Thomas and some of the decisions past Thomas has made with like his time or the code or the projects you work on? Or
I actually very rarely curse past Thomas for his code.
Good.
Usually I am like, yeah, this makes sense. And if something is underdeveloped, I'm like, yeah, but it made sense in the moment and I can change this, you know, and it's not a big deal. I feel like code, I can trust my past self. As far as like time management and decision making for projects, it's so hard. I think my biggest question mark that I have for my whole self-employed career is my involvement with YouTube, because in some ways it's been super fulfilling and I've grown a lot and it's brought a lot of cool opportunities. But at the same time, it's like, if you're measuring income, it just has not been nearly worth the amount of investment. I'm like 4 years into my YouTube channel and I have like 15,000 subscribers, which is awesome. But if you would have told me that I would have put this many hours into it, and I would have received, I think I've made a lifetime revenue of like $1,000 from the channel.
Sure.
And like more, I've had a couple sponsorships in there that have added up to more, but still it's just like from a career income standpoint, that's like one of the biggest things that I'm not sure if it, like, what would be different if I would have spent all of that time making games,
Do you think you'd still be here, like, making games?
I wouldn't be on this podcast, that's for sure, because we wouldn't have connected probably.
Sure.
But,
well, maybe not here, but like, do you think? Because I wonder. I don't know if I would still be making games had I not had a YouTube channel. I don't know if I ever would have felt like, I don't think I would have been able to like quit my job and then just like be in my room by myself. Like, I feel like a lot of what keeps me going right now is being able to like my podcast and like this and like talking to people and like having a YouTube channel and a Discord community and like being able to post something and then someone like, play test it. Like, I feel like that sort of like community building, it's really intangible and it's really, really hard to measure the value of. But then you can look at the money number and say, well, I haven't made that much money from it. And so then that feels bad, but I feel like it's such an intangible thing for me to feel like I don't think I'd still be doing game development had I not built a community around me. I think that's such a huge portion of what I like need because I don't have coworkers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So do you I'll ask you again, do you think you'd still be here? Now that feels like a leading question because I gave my answer, but like,
no, I think
honestly, do you think you'd still be here had you not done YouTube or anything like that?
I think so. I think that it would be hard to have less of a connection to the game development community, but I think that I think that I would still be making games and just doing game development and focusing more on concentrated development and release cycles.
I think that I think it's hard because one of the challenges is that we don't get to understand the opportunities that we're creating for ourselves yet.
Yeah.
One of my friends said, and he was quoting some other podcast or something, but he's like, you don't ever get to know if a decision or a thing that happens to you is good or bad because the story's still being unfold in front of you. Like, there might all of a sudden be a good opportunity that pops up because of YouTube, but you still don't know if that's a good opportunity because the opportunity happened. And like, our lives just are never ever like, you never get to actually have this like objective like that's good or bad. And so I think one of the hard things is that I would hope for both of us that doing YouTube creates opportunities. It opens doors and it does things that like we couldn't have done being just solo devs. Like, I feel like being public about it, at least for me, has been something that's helped maybe open up more doors than not.
100%. And like the contract position that I'm working at the publisher, I just got a cold email outreach because they saw my YouTube videos, and that's how that led to it, so it's just like it's like, if I ever wanted to go back to the workforce full time, I feel like my YouTube channel would be a better resume than any other kind of resume. I mean, unless I had like a more compelling Steam catalog of games, I guess. But I think it's still like it shows my thought process and a lot of the things that I've accomplished over the last few years. So
yeah, it's a really cool like visual journal and like history and like even just looking at our haircuts, over the
yeah, exactly. I've been wearing hats so much because my wife gives me my haircuts and she's just been real busy, and so I just haven't. My hair is so long, and so I've just been wearing hats every day.
You gonna grow it out? Get some Aramis hair going?
I'm tempted, but
have you ever had long hair?
No, never have.
You use more shampoo and conditioner, I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
I just got a haircut this week, and I'm using like half the conditioner I was using before.
Yeah. Fun fact, I've been using toothpaste to gel my hair for years now. Probably like 8 years. I've been using toothpaste, and like not every toothpaste is the same, but it's so cheap and it works really well, and it makes your hair smell minty, and it's been good enough. So,
does anybody else in chat use toothpaste to style their hair? And how'd you learn that?
My brother-in-law mentioned it once. He's from Australia. I don't know if it's an Australian thing or what, but he just mentioned it as a travel hack. Like if you're vacationing somewhere and you forget to bring hair gel, like you can use toothpaste in a pinch. And I'm like, huh, that's a good idea. And then I realized like this works better than any hair gel I've ever bought. So, yeah,
I've never heard of that. And does it like hold it? What is the hold? I guess is it like a really firm?
It depends on the toothpaste.
That's a good YouTube video to like go through and rate. Rate different toothpaste based off of their quality of your like how good of a hair. That's so funny. Yeah,
it's so funny. But it's like,
what's your favorite? What's your go-to brand? I suppose
I use Colgate whitening. That's my go-to. Yeah.
What?
Yep.
Oh, that is a fun fact. Oh my gosh. Is that the cold open for this?
Yeah, exactly. I think so. That's so funny.
That's awesome. I don't even know what to say about that. That's crazy. Is there do you all have any questions that you want to ask us? We haven't done a live podcast in a while. Any questions from chat that you are curious, or questions from you, Thomas? Do you have any questions you want to chat about?
Everyone just wants to know about the toothpaste. That's so funny.
You can answer their questions.
Yeah. The whitening does not really affect the hair. It just blends in. I don't get frosted tips.
Someone confirms it's not an Australian thing from YouTube chat.
Oh my gosh, a Colgate sponsorship. That would be incredible.
You're opening new business avenues for them. You know, that's like it's not even convincing someone to switch brands. You're like, no. You could use your toothpaste. You're done scrubbing your mouth, spit in your hand, and just go for it. Or are you just taking it from the tube and then going in your hair? You're not like using it and then using it.
Yeah.
Or is it like that? How do you? I guess what's the process?
So, it depends on the toothpaste, right? But there's a very specific period of when I get out of the shower and how wet my hair is. And I think that's the same with every hair gel. You know, you like try and find the prime time where it's like it's hard to gel your hair when it's completely dry. And so I think it's very similar to normal process. But I just, I dry my hair, I wait until it's just like a little damp, and then I put some toothpaste on my hand, smear it together like this, and just run it through, try to get it evenly dispersed. And that's so basically
it's more of a
process.
soft hold than kind of like a putty situation where it's like your hair's not like it's not like that hard gel or anything like that. It kind of gets it to hold it in the right places. Yeah,
it's not like a glossy sort of look. Yeah,
this might be stuck in my head for a while. I'm gonna like be brushing my teeth and I'm just gonna start laughing because I'm just gonna be like, should I? And eventually you're all laughing, chat too. You're gonna try it at some point. Yep. You're gonna be thinking about it at some point. You're like, Thomas did it, and his hair does look nice. Like, okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, hair dev tutorials. That's so funny.
He doesn't have hair. You could could you just put toothpaste on your head if you're bald? Maybe that'll get the hair to grow back. Maybe that's the trick.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, me too.
Oh man. Well, okay, yeah, this toothpaste banter is just going to keep going on. I have a question for you.
Sure.
So I know that you passed on an opportunity to work with a publisher for Hexagod.
Mm-hmm.
And how has that process? How do you think back on that? Are you glad that you passed on that? If you could go back, would you have taken the deal? And are you looking at the possibility of working with publishers in the future?
I think part of my I it's hard to separate the like bucket of I spent too many hours on Hexagod from that decision. I think there's a chance that working with a publisher would have been a little bit more streamlined as far as like what are the pivots we're doing, what are the timeline, like there's just objectively there would have been a stronger force pushing timelines, which could have been helpful. I think the deal that I would have had would have been more lucrative so far than where Hexagod sales have been. So that from a perspective kind of sucks. But I also didn't work with this publisher because it just didn't feel right in the moment. They were not like an American publisher. They were from France, and it legally would have been weird, I think. And I don't know. I just got bad vibes from them, I think, generally speaking. There's like this, like, it was hard to sometimes get them to respond back to some of my emails, and that started rubbing me the wrong way pretty quickly. So I think a little bit of me, what are your questions? Was it a mistake basically to like, how do I think about the decision in hindsight? I'm happy I didn't do it still. I like not being tied down to a publisher at this point in my game development career. I still think I learned a lot from...
Sorry, I just saw a chat that said, can we use hair gel as toothpaste? That's so funny.
What a great question.
Oh my gosh.
You try it first and report back to us.
Yeah. Okay, sorry for the interruption. That was so funny.
Looking back, I think there could have been some great learning opportunities. The finances they would have done would have been nice. I'm still happy I didn't do it, and I'm open to working with a publisher in the future if it feels right. I just remember like I have to trust past me and being like I was uncomfortable with it, and that's okay that I was uncomfortable with it. That doesn't mean that it was a bad decision, even though like I think there was a tremendous amount of cost to making Hexagod that could have been offset by that. I'm still in a financially okay state. My burn rate's somewhere off in 2027, I think, or something like that. So I'm like, there's no end in sight. The only end in sight would be like, I want to not do it anymore at this point. So I'm absolutely open to work with publishers in the future. I think if it feels right, and I think they would add something beyond what they, if there's a huge rev share at the other side of it, I want to be able to feel that they would be worth that in the long run.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. So I'm glad that you don't have regrets about that, and it sounds like you were able to kind of pay attention to the maybe not red flags but yellow flags and make a decision you're confident with. Still open to working with publishers in the future, but it sounds like you're not actively going to be searching that out.
I have no plans to pitch a publisher. I think where I would really like to have a publisher is like in a situation where I want to do something bigger, like, hire somebody to do like art or something like that. Like, I think it would be a pitch where I'm like, because it's not like I need the funding, right? It's not like you need to fund me for a development purpose. Thornity and I are just going to make a game about a black hole really successful, so it's not going to be a big problem anyways. It's going to be just shitting out money out of the black hole. I want to take that comment back. Who knew making a game out of black hole would be such a sexual experience? I certainly didn't.
I'm sure somebody. Yeah.
There's just a lot of thrusting, and there's a lot of balloon-shaped cosmetics we could cosmetics we could be adding to the game.
There's a lot of potential for DLC here.
Oh yeah, or dev supporter packs and stuff. Anyways, I think that's where I would probably start pitching a publisher if I'm like, I have an idea for a game and I have a huge like gap in my skill set that I need to hire someone else to do would be where I end up going. And that might be the case. Like, I think one of the big things right now, I'm about 5,000 hours into game dev. And I think the first 5,000 hours was learning how to make games. And now it's like learning how to make games that are financially successful is the next 5,000 hours. And I think some of the things in there are going to be like, how do I start getting ideas that are maybe a little bit bigger that, or like take me a certain amount of time, but then I need to have somebody else then augment, okay, you're going to be the 3D artist here and you're going to be doing these 3D assets for me because I've tried learning 3D stuff and it's just not my cup of soup. So that's likely where a publisher would come in, I think, is significantly doing something like that. Or I have a smashingly good game idea that all of a sudden is getting a bunch of wish lists and I need someone to come in and help me capitalize on that for success. Like, how do I, let's say I get 100,000 wish lists. Okay, well, that's a huge number I can take to somebody and say, I have 100,000 wish lists. You need to help me execute on this.
Yeah.
And like, you know, with that, you also get a really good deal then because you come with such a like objectively good number that you can then use that from a position of leverage for that conversation.
I imagine though, if you got 100,000 wish lists, it would be really hard to say, okay, I'm guaranteed this many sales. Do I want to give away 30 to 50% of the revenue to somebody else?
I think I would have I guess, yes, that'd be hard, but it would also be a position where you're in the red zone, where it's almost football season, right? You're in the red zone and you're coming up on third down and goal. Maybe you have a half yard, or you're just like, I'm so close to getting it over there. And they're like, yeah, we're going to make you the running back. We're giving you the ball. And you're like, could we hire a better running back?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm 5'6", 160. I'm not getting through that, you know. I maybe could, right? But like, I think my odds of fumbling that football are pretty high.
Yeah.
And that's where I would want, like, future Aramis, if you're rewatching this portion of the video, like, maybe you should work with someone who can try to help you, like, you know, hire a Tom Brady who's like had many touchdowns before. He's not a running back, but he knows how to get touchdowns. And maybe not specifically Tom Brady because he seems like a weird dude, but
that's funny.
I don't know. That's a good perspective though. What would you do in that situation?
If I had 100,000 wish lists, it depends on the game. I think if I felt like if it was like a buggy mess and like people were if I felt like I was presenting a version of the game that didn't exist behind the scenes, then I would probably try and bring in help from a publisher. But if it was like, if I had like a playable demo and like people were loving the gameplay and that's where the wish lists were coming from because of the content of how the mechanics were working and how the game functioned, then I would feel more confident to pull things off myself.
Sure.
But yeah, it'd be hard to know.
I hope I have to deal with that at some point. It'd be great.
I just saw David Whaley, the developer of The First Tree and his newest game, We Harvest Shadows. He just passed 300,000 wish lists on Steam.
That's so many wish lists.
I know. That's insane.
That's so many wish lists. I mean, he has a name too, right? Like you start having a specific following to you.
Yeah. It's crazy.
And he makes good games. I'm not just saying it's his following, but you earn a following, right? You have a following and people who are willing to like play your games because they know what you make really connect with.
It's a different caliber of game. That's where like your decision making is like, do we push back the release of this game another year so that we can make it better? You know, that's like nothing that I would even consider,
because you have so many wish lists that you're like, let's not fumble this.
Yeah.
Let's take a time out, if you will.
Hey. Maybe we should rename this podcast.
What, the Scope Football Creepers?
Football Creeps. That's funny.
I actually don't like football that much. I've kind of fallen out of love with it as just a thing. I'm just not that interested. Mostly because it's hard to watch. It's like hard to watch American football. There's not very many like easy free sources, and I'm solo indie developer. I don't have money to go buy a cable cable network or whatever the hell it is.
Yep, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I don't do a lot of TV watching in general, although I am watching Andor right now.
Ooh,
just
nice.
Very good.
Nice. Any other questions from the chat or from you, Thomas? That's good. I like the publisher question.
Yeah. Ad break.
Yeah, we can keep talking though. It's not happening to us.
Yeah, suckers.
Oh, you see that on the virtual camera. That's interesting. It's backwards.
Oh, it's not backwards for me.
Oh, it's backwards in my preview.
Oh, interesting.
It is interesting.
I don't think that's really... I mean, unless you wanted to... I could show off what I had made so far for the game jam if you're interested.
We can do that.
But
it'll be switching scenes, so we won't be shown, but we can talk about it. You want to do that?
Sure.
Gingy Ninja says yes. All right, perfect.
Let's see here. Make sure it'll run. I don't remember where I left this game.
View? No, I can't. How's everyone in chat doing? Those who are not seeing ads, or those who are listening. This is the chill portion of the podcast. We'll call it an intermission. Gonna hang out. Hope we're having a good day. Pick up the pace in the walk a little bit more. Your heart rate's supposed to be over 100 when you're walking. I think it's good for you. So pick it up just a little bit more. I feel like my really fast paced walks are like 16-minute miles. But that's like I'm booking it. I'm like that's a hustling. Like I've had caffeine in my system.
Yeah.
How fast are your walks? My normal pace is like 17 to 18-minute miles.
I don't pace my walks. I've been training for a marathon in October, so I've been trying to run more. But my Apple Watch just broke. I actually have it right here. You can see. There's the old screen.
Oh, that is really broke.
Yeah, it still works. But the screen.
Could you just like glue it down?
I'm tempted to. I think I might try and sell it and let somebody else, because you can buy a replacement screen for it, but they're like $100. So I bought a new Garmin watch and it should be here on Monday. So I'm excited to start training with that. I'll record my walks and let you know my pace.
Nice. I like the step counting. That's about it.
Yeah.
So I use the watch for that.
Yeah.
And I listen to a lot of podcasts as I'm walking, and I think some people are listening to that as well.
Yeah, walking is such a life hack, dude.
That's where all my best ideas come from.
Yeah. Walking and showers, I think, are the best things.
Yeah. Moments where you're just away from the keyboard. How's that game coming along?
My game? Oh, I'm ready whenever.
Go ahead.
Shit?
Yeah. Oh, okay. I can move. Okay. I'm gonna do it when you're ready. I'm gonna switch over.
Oh, cool. Let me see if I can. Do I want to share
toothpaste as conditioner? That's fabulous.
Oh. I don't need 4K streaming. Sorry. Let me see if I can do this. Make selection. This is not what I want. Show all windows.
How have family and or having no family affected your game dev? Like I have a family, and it's been very helpful to have somebody else to talk to and support, and also people who just have no idea what's going on. It's just nice to hang out with them. I don't know.
Okay,
I can see this. Click that and go to clean PC.
So this is
big.
Sorry, that was actually the wrong project. Let me pull up the right one.
Now we're little babies in the corner. We're still on the screen though. That's cool.
Nice.
How do I make this bigger?
Make selection. There we go. Okay, how does that look?
Good. I can see Unity. Ugh.
Okay.
What a crappy engine. Oh, sorry.
Okay. I'll show you. Cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so this is my GMTK game jam that opened up, and basically I was implementing tutorialization via this text toast that pops up at the bottom.
Ooh, I like it.
Um, so basically it just teaches you to go pick up some seed, and then you can plant it in the dirt.
How long does
And
it pop
then,
up for? Is it contextual?
yeah, it depends, but I think it averages like 4 seconds. But then sometimes if you complete the action that it requires, it'll go a little faster.
Nice. I
Um,
love the color palette you picked.
Thanks. Yeah,
It looks really
I love the
nice.
idea of like floating islands and
And the skybox is
um,
cool with like the different blocks of color. I feel like that works really
yeah.
well. And burn it. You didn't even hesitate.
So basically the idea of this game is like
Oh, money.
you sacrifice crops that you grow and then you get paid for it. And then you
Cool.
can buy different upgrades and stuff.
A bit like a
And
little incremental type situation. What's this bigger island up
yeah,
top?
so that we'll go there. This is like the premise of the integration of the theme, which is like a
Ooh.
loop. So you kind of have this like cloud railway system that you can ride in between. Um,
Ooh.
and so then you can get here and then hop out, and you can see that there's a lot more plots of land to grow crops here. Um, Sorry, it's a little slowed down because we have to wait for the tutorial stuff to, go
That's
through and
okay.
everything. But the idea is that the rail cart will keep going in between these islands, but it's on a timer. And so if you want to do some sort of action on an island, you have to be quick if you want to catch a ride, or else you need to wait until it comes back. So, and then you can get a shop, and this is like very much work in progress, but like you can buy more seeds here, and then use them to plant more crops here. And then you can also buy a cargo cart.
Dang.
And so if you do that, then you can see that that spawns way over there. So you can see it's coming, but it'll trail behind this head cart.
Ah.
And so if you take some items like your corn, then you can go and like load it up on the cart, and then you can take it back to sell it. And so that's
Because you
basically
had to go
like
to the bottom island to like actually sell stuff.
yeah, exactly. So
Cool.
that's basically as far as I made it. And up there's like water, and so there was going to be a feature to water the game. But then where the game got really fun was I was planning on adding robots to like automatically water and harvest your crops to automate it.
Mm-hmm.
And so floating islands with robots that automate all of your crop growing, I think would be a pretty solid idea. But
Yeah,
that's
for sure. For
as far as I
incremental,
got.
like the do it. Thornity calls this do it once and then automate. And so like
Yeah.
you do a lot of it once, and then all of a sudden now you have a robot that you can come and help, right? But then you also can just come and get their results.
Yep.
Cool. This is impressive. For you only what you said you did half of the jam basically in the time.
Yeah, it's like 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
I was really excited about finishing it, but
What would you have done still to make it quote unquote finished?
Basically I just needed to get the like polish up the upgrade for the shop.
Sure.
And then add in I didn't really know if I was going to have time to add the robots or not to automate it. So it might have just been a thing where you just go grab crops and maybe water it. I didn't even know what the scope was going to be. I was going to see how much time I had on the last day, but basically just like grow crops, buy new crops, load them up, sell them, unlock a new type of seed, just like super basic. I probably wouldn't have had time to get to the robots, but that's the idea.
It matches your goal for the jam though. Like your goal wasn't to make a game for the jam. Like your goal was to prototype your project, and then because of that you're just like focusing on making the mechanics you want to make. And
yeah,
So it makes a lot of sense why then you chose to not have necessarily like this hard, fast scope. Because like I would say it's kind of objectively challenging to say, let me wait to the last day to see how much left I have to do. Like to be able to make a successful game jam entry, but like that wasn't your goal. And so I think it's helpful in general to just always understand why you're doing something, and then you can match the work you do to that idea.
Totally. Yeah. So
nice work.
That's as far as I got. I was pretty happy with it. But I think it's a pretty fun idea. I always like running ideas by you because I feel like you have a really good intuition for what makes a game fun.
I think the looping mechanic would be very weird.
Yeah. That's which is funny because that's kind of like the idea, the sole idea that came from the theme of the jam, as opposed to an idea that I already had in my head,
Yeah, I could see it being like all of a sudden I'm here on this island and I've harvested all my corn and now I'm just waiting for this thing to come around again.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. But I think there's kind of, I didn't really, I mean, my tutorial is like half baked right now, so that's why this cart is now stuck in the stopped position.
Sure.
But the idea of like show up, like get out, run over here really fast, try and like unload your corn, load it up before it leaves, or else you get punished. It'd probably feel kind of bad actually now that I think about it, but
I don't think it needs a punishing system. Like, I think it could just simply be like, now you're on this island and you go to this island and it has, this one's perfect for farming corn at. And then this is my corn island, and maybe you go back home and then you see a market rate and you see that the corn is up 50%. So now this next month, I'm going to try to make as much corn as possible. I don't know. But then you just have your chariot. Going around the different islands is really cool and really fun. But then you could have your chariot just be something that I don't know why I'm calling it a chariot. It's more like a cloud train. You hop on your cloud train and then you just like, go to the next place. And I think on rails would be easy for a prototype, but it'd be really cool if it was just off rails. And then there's a chance, it's rickety and all of a sudden it dumps over and you lose some of your, I don't know. Again, I don't know if it needs punishing mechanics, if it's just simply like an incremental type vibe. So,
right.
But cool. And I think a really interesting prototype that has a lot of promise, because those are just fun games. The idea of farming and kind of the aesthetics are really nice. I think that would be really eye-catching in a good way.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with something that looked kind of like this game on the Switch that I played a long time ago called Air, AER. And I don't know if
Thornity says this game would do very well.
Oh, hey, my man.
There you go.
Here's the I don't know if I can. Oh, that's actually kind of crappy. I was gonna send you a link, but this game Air. Here you go. I'll send it to you in Discord.
Oh, sure.
It has a very similar sort of a sort of deal.
For sure, I see that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, so I don't know, just something that I want to keep on the back burner for developing in the future. But I think that
podcast. I think that's cool. Well done. That is I could not make that game in any amount of time. That seems crazy. So well done.
Thanks.
How do you feel about the project, kind of looking back now after a week?
I think it's a good base. I think that it didn't really get to the parts that I wanted to prove out, like entering different mechanics of like watering and automating tasks and stuff.
Sure.
But I think that it's I'm proud of how much I could get done in 2 days. I think it's cool being able to rely on some old code that I can cobble together, and I don't know, fun to experiment with.
Yeah, I think it's a cool feeling to be able to like make something so quickly. There's a past version of you that has no idea how to do any of that, right? And like,
yeah, exactly.
I feel like one of your first few jams or one of your projects I remember seeing was that little like acorn person running around jumping and stuff, and like,
totally.
You probably spent a lot more time on that project,
yeah,
than like this project here. But there's a lot of similar concepts and ideas that you've refined over the years to get to the point where you can like run so quickly with that to get where you got to.
Totally. Yeah. So that's it.
Cool. Let's do some rapid fire questions. I don't know if we've done these before. What's a genre mashup that you want to see either as a player or that you want to make?
Oh,
mine's a extraction ARPG game, so like Path of Exile or Diablo with like some sort of extraction mechanic, where like getting your loot back to your stash is like a successful mission. And this like decision making process of like, what do I take with me and what am I willing to lose in this moment is very interesting to me.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
I cannot make the game, but I would like to play it, please.
Yeah. I've always wanted to make this isn't really like a genre mashup, but like a medieval heist where you're like trying to like sneak into a castle and like cleverly figure out how to steal something without being detected. So kind of like a stealth heist game where you're avoiding guards, but like the medieval theme where you have like different magical abilities and like kind of like Heat Signature, but like sure. I don't know if you've played that game, but
yeah, I know of it. I've not played it, but I know what you mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that'd be pretty
just
fun.
Different ways to manipulate your environment and to like puzzle your way out a little bit of how do you like get out of this thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Who is somebody you're jealous of?
Ooh, that's such a good question.
This is from Mike Birbiglia's podcast. He has a bunch of really. I need to write them down as I'm listening to them, but they're really good. Because then the follow-up question is, who did you first think about that you didn't say?
Oh, that's so good. That's so mean.
But it's true. There's maybe somebody you did think about that you didn't.
Who am I jealous of? I'm trying to think of like, there's people that I like aspire to be like, but that's a little different than jealous.
Yeah.
Because like, I feel like the people that I respect and like want to be like, it's not like if I were jealous of somebody, I feel like it would be because they have I don't know, like they have something that they don't deserve, you know? And I'm like, oh, I wish I had that. But that's not really the case. It's like people that I aspire to in game development, I'm like, yeah, they're awesome. But that can still be jealousy, you know? Like I want to be as good at, you know, designing games as they are someday. That's such a hard question. I don't know.
I think mine's Jonas Tyroller.
Yeah.
He makes the content that I want to make, and he's had the success that he like his level of game success is something that I'm like, that's what I kind of want to have.
Yeah.
And I think he's maybe just like many years down the road of the path I'm on, and I'm jealous of that.
Yeah. Yeah, he's so awesome because he makes quality YouTube content and he also is a great game developer, and that's hard to do both.
Yeah. So when you said 3 back-to-back hits, all major successes is that's a track record.
And he's starting to do podcasts now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think GMTK is somebody else, so I'm jealous of, like the level of success he has, and like I feel like his YouTube channel is something that I am jealous of in the fact that it like opened up so many opportunities for him when he got into game development, that he's able to like hook into these networks of people and like be able to do stuff that I feel like I probably can't at this point, right? I think I'm jealous of that ability to just kind of like ask for help and almost get too much answers, too much echoing. You know?
Yeah.
It's probably like an issue is like if he does say he needs help, then it's just like, hundreds and hundreds of people want to give him
right,
hope.
right. Yeah, and people not wanting to be critical because they just admire him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the two people that I feel like I would want to aspire to be most like in the game dev sphere are Tom Francis and Oscar Stalberg.
I have no
And
idea
those
who
are
either of them are.
oh yeah, they're awesome.
No
Tom
offense to them,
Francis,
it's just I don't know who they are.
yeah, Tom Francis is awesome. He's one of the reasons that I started pursuing game development because I was watching his devlogs and he's created Gunpoint and Heat Signature and most recently Tactical Breach Wizards.
Oh.
And he's a very, very thoughtful designer, and his YouTube channel is like relatively small for his game success because he just like turns on the camera and just kind of like vomits all of his ideas for like 30 minutes, and it's gold. It's such a good YouTube channel. But he's done like incremental sort of updates with devlogs for different games, and it's been really fun to watch him. So he's somebody that I respect tremendously because he does both design really well and execution at a phenomenal level. And then Oscar Stalberg is the developer of Bad North and
sure.
Townscaper.
Sure.
And so I really value him as a developer because I wish that I could make a compelling game that's minimalist like his. Like his art looks so good, but it's like it fools you because you're like, it's so simple. Like I feel like I should be able to do that.
Sure.
But he also like uses all these complex procedural generation algorithms like wave function collapse and like makes all of these assets that like stitch together these unique looking islands. And so yeah, those are two people that I admire greatly.
Yeah. Maybe admire greatly is a better question. So I feel like jealous as an emotion is a hard one to get a grasp of fully.
Yeah.
So I think they're related and they're like almost adjacent feelings and emotions, but I like the phrasing of who do you admire? I like that.
Yeah. I think it's a little different because then it's like jealous is like, I wish I could trade places with you, you know, and I'm like, I wouldn't like, but because who knows? It's just like, I'm just focusing on their, you know, game developer prowess, but
we also just don't see the thousands of hours behind all of the creations. You know, it's like, like I said before, I'm at like 5,000 hours. I mean, at some point I could just make a really shitty game and now I can make a game that looks really professional. Mm-hmm. And in 5,000 more hours, what can I make and what can I do? And like someone will see, like when we see games that have viral success, it's like, yeah, but you don't see that. Like I went and saw Nate Bargatze, whatever his last name is. I saw him recently, and in his intro, it's like he's been doing comedy for like 15 years.
Yeah.
And people are like, he blew up overnight. He came out of nowhere. And it's like, no, he's been doing this for a really long time. And I love those stories. I love those uncovering of people who have been just grinding for 20 years and like eventually become successful because they've like honed their skills so hard. I connect with that so much because I'm like, I kind of want to be that. Not necessarily like, it'd be great if it doesn't take me 20 years to make my first like really big hit, but like that it's okay. And a lot of the successful people that I look up to and not the game dev space have been at it for years and years and years and years and years before they find their thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Or like Pirate Software, you know, he just had a huge like meteoric rise to his fame and
but he'd been doing it for years before that happened, right?
An overnight success, decades in the making.
Yeah. And we don't get to see those decades in the making. And I hope to be, I guess I one of the things I like about making YouTube, to circle back to the beginning of our conversation, is like I want to show that process. Like I think I can get there. I think I can learn enough. I think you can get there. I think you can learn enough and grow enough. And like I hope our channels showcase us doing that along that journey so that other people can feel confident that they can also put in that hard work and stick with it for long enough to get to that point.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if you've seen Thomas Brush just had someone on his podcast, Jake Burkett, and he's somebody that I love following online because he is somebody that is very much a sustainable game developer, where he mostly makes solitaire games, but with like cool twists. But he had one of my favorite tweets of all time that he sent out a few months ago, where he was talking about how he measures the success of the games that he puts out based off of his hourly effort. Like he calculates his hourly rate based off of how much time he puts into the game and then how much money it makes. And he said his most recent game, he made $250 an hour. And yeah, right?
That's so cool.
Because he had an engine, and and it wasn't just a reskin, it came with like but he knows like the solitaire audience and like added new features and compelling gameplay. But he's like in his 40s or 50s now, but he's been doing game development for decades, and he's not like somebody who's had like a major hit, but he has like a back catalog of really solid games, and he knows how to run a game studio of like 1 to 2 people or whatever. I don't know how many. I think he works with an artist or whatever. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good path forward. Even just like, I'm tracking the hours I spend on a game about a black hole because I'm just interested in what my hourly rate will be for that game.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a very interesting number to have, to be able to look at that. And like, even with Hexagod, I said 100 more hours and I'm done with the project. And so then when I sit down, it's much more intentional development at this point, which is successful. So
yeah. Interesting.
Anything else you got, Thomas, on the top of your head? Anything rattling around?
Nothing. There's nothing up here.
Cool.
Vacant space.
Cool. Do you have any slow questions? You should add it to your podcast. It's fun. I think it's a fun little thing at the end of a podcast. Just ask a bunch of, or people call it the lightning round, or Mike calls them his slow questions, but it's just quick little bits that you can kind of talk about at the end. But
one that hasn't been, that I've asked a lot of my podcast guests is just because I've seen a theme come up in all these conversations, is like, what is your relationship with exercise, and how does that relate to game development? Because so many people that I talk to, it's like it's tightly coupled, and like very few people are making games and not like heavily dedicated to working out. And I think there's like a weird connection there where it's like, I don't know if it's like stress relief or if it like makes you more driven, or like, I don't know what it is, but it's like people are out there lifting weights or running, or like everybody. I haven't talked to any game developer that is doing what we're doing that isn't like a big part of their life.
It's a huge part of my life. I work out. I try to work out like 5 to 6 times a week. Usually just like a Peloton ride that gets my heart rate. My target is my heart rate over 160 is where I really feel the release, and then 170 is even better. I can't get over 180 because I'm getting old. I've actually known, like, I've been doing Peloton long enough where I notice now that my heart rate can't get as high as when I started doing it. But like in the last 30 days, I've worked out 23 times in the last 30 days on Peloton. And so,
nice.
And if I'm not doing Peloton, I'm trying to get over 10,000 steps right now during the summer. So it's everything. Like, it's one of the big reasons I don't stream is because I love going for walks. Like, that was the hardest part of GMTK for me in streaming, was not getting the walks in. I go on like 8 to 15 walks like a day usually. So it's honestly the only reason I don't stream is because I can't. If I could go on a 10-minute walk and come back and my audience would still be there, I would probably stream still. But like, I can't. I like once an hour need to stand up and go get out of my desk and like go do stuff. So it's everything. I think it's not necessarily game development, but just like how I keep myself functioning as a human is by working out and like trying to live a healthy lifestyle. And the core of that is working out, I think. So that's interesting that you felt that from other game devs.
Yeah, it's like kind of creepy how much it is. And it's not like lots of people are talking about like CrossFit, or like one guy used to be like a gym trainer, and like all of it, like it's very heavily I don't know, weird. I'll get to the bottom of it eventually.
And you're training for your marathon, so I think it sounds like, I mean, your training could be not a lot of working out, but how's your relationship with working out?
I love getting outside and running, and it's like,
what are your long runs at right now?
They're not great for I think I'm 10 weeks out from my marathon, and my long runs are like 10 miles. So
that's really good. You'll be able to do it.
It's good for me, but I'm like trying to figure out, like, I haven't even looked at like training plans for marathons really, because I just want to finish, you know. I'm not like looking at times or anything, but I'm like, I think by the end I should be getting up to like, I don't know, 18 miles for my long runs, maybe 20 miles. It depends who you ask. So I don't know. I'm a noob. But
not bad. Pretty successful.
Cool.
10 miles is a long time. Thanks for coming on the podcast. I think this is your, we started it together and now it's kind of grown into something I just go and talk to other people with, but like you're 5 or 6 times on this podcast now. So
something like that.
Someone recently watched all the beginning ones and said they're like, it's really cool to see you and Thomas having talked about stuff at the beginning of this and how you're all still like having worked through those over the years and like how you talk about things differently now.
Oh, interesting.
So it's cool that he's like, there's noticeable growth in the way you talk about things differently. And even just like our presence on camera is different, which is cool too. So.
Oh, that's so interesting. I don't want to go back and watch the early ones.
Nope. No, thank you.
That's funny. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for inviting me on. Talking to you is super easy. We always have a lot of good stuff to talk about. So
absolutely.
And it's encouraging. I don't have people like you in my immediate life that I get to talk to very often. So I find a lot of value in this.
Yeah, your friendship is something I've valued a lot over the last, I think you reached out like 3 years ago or something like that. So it's been fun to go on our game dev journeys together.
Yeah, cool. Best of luck to you until next time.
Bye. Stop recording. I've done so many podcasts where then the conversation gets really cool after I click that button. And it's like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I say stop recording and then we just keep talking because we're like in the flow of talking and it's just ugh.
Yep.
D2 says you like both of our podcasts, but whose do you like better? I'm just don't answer that. Don't answer that. It's definitely Thomas. You've had way cooler people. Not that I have uncool people. I feel like you've talked to a lot more people than the people I've talked to. I gotta get on my game. You have a lot more episodes than I do, so.
I was sitting on so many recordings for a while, and now I have one more, and so I need to start scheduling more podcasts.
Yeah.
But my schedule's so busy, and I'm like, well, we'll see.
Yeah.
I might start doing repeat guests too.
I want to do that. There's a few people I'm like, I want to see how they like keep going and learning and doing and.
Yeah.
Good stuff. All right, I need to go to the bathroom. This was fun.
Cool.
I'll chat with you soon and have a good rest of your Friday. And enjoy. Do you have leftover pizza today at least?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Enjoy the leftover pizza.
Thanks. Bye-bye. See you, man.
All right, I need to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. Yeah, what a lame conversation. That was awesome. That was fun. That's the reason I do these things, is just to have cool conversations and let them flow. And Thomas is a cool person. Anything else that y'all want to talk about now that Thomas is gone? Any questions you got for me? I know it's a little bit less engagement in there, but I hope you enjoy it. That'll be live over on YouTube on my podcast at some point. Probably maybe tomorrow, maybe not. I'm going to be eating pizza within the next couple hours, and then I'm going to be playing what's the game? Battlefield 6 with my friends here. So that'll be fun. yeah, that's it. I think I'm ready to be done streaming. I think do you think toothpaste on a mustache would be slick? It just needs a or is it just a hair thing? I don't know. It could be good. It could be good. Yeah, I'm gonna go play Battlefield 6. I'm gonna do that. It was a good week. It was a fine week. I'm gonna end the stream there. Thank you all so much for hanging out. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend. I'll be back live next Friday, likely. And yeah, let me play some music in the outro. Nerdy. All right, I've been Aramis. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.